called in
to Box and Brews, you might hear something
you can use.
like tips on your cash or tips on the suds.
You're gonna want to
The
use
smarts of these stuff.
because they know the brews.
And they know the box, and they know they can't help the stubborn fucks.
So listen up, cause shit's not funny.
And save yourself some beer money.
Bucks
And brews.
Bucks and
Bucks and brews.
brews.
Bucks and Brews.
Welcome back to Bucks and Brews. Nick, it's been a couple weeks because we got all screwed up last week.
Apparently I was sick.
You were.
Say things we learned today.
The question is, were you sick or were you birthday sick from too much drinks?
No, I didn't drink that. I drank the night before, but not really too much on my birthday.
Yeah, you didn't do too bad. I was there.
That's like my favorite sound.
Before we get into the banter,
Yeah,
what are you drinking?
I am drinking birthday beers. Okay, so my buddy David here got me some PBRs for my birthday because he knows that I just enjoy a good beer. And good beer to me is PBR and Bud Light.
I mean, I'm not a fan, but I know you like it, so.
So quick side note, literally today's Thursday. I just got back 12 hours ago, or well, no, now it's 18 hours ago from Milwaukee.
Yep.
So I was in PBR heaven. So
I have.
what do you got?
I did not get sponsored by you this week.
Oh, okay, good for me.
So next time I will sponsor you or be sponsored by you. So I have one of my own from Revolution Brewing because I love Revolution Brewing, and they did this with Art History Brewing.
Yeah,
It's a Paint the Town Dunkel, a Munich style Dunkel lager.
it's fantastic.
It is.
isn't
It's very good.
Yeah.
I do enjoy that. That's my last one of that. And I am partly sponsored tonight by Mr. Mike Walling with a salted caramel porter from Pigeon Hill.
Nice.
And then I'll move on to water because we have a strict 2-drink limit for the two of us now on Bucks and Brews because a couple of times we've been not so good.
I might do 3 PBRs.
But that's like a quarter of a real beer.
Wow, you know what? I'm so glad I invited both of you. If you guys want to go ahead and be best friends.
Well, I thought you were going to drink beer, and then you got PBR over there.
Right.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
I told you I like him.
I think my Panera drink has got more alcohol.
Your
It might.
Panera drink cost more than my whole case of beer. Okay.
And it tastes
um,
better too.
Let's be clear about this. Normal beers like Bud Light and all that is 4.2%.
Uh-huh.
PBR is 4.7. Okay, so you know when people are alcoholics when they're going for that 4.7s. Yeah, as he's over here.
I'm looking 5.8.
Yeah, okay.
See, and I drink cider. They're usually 6.9 or higher.
Yeah. I make my own wine and make it however I want. So
There are 2 times
Your
we've
mouth is
had.
cool.
There are 2 times on the show we've had triple mash from Dragon's Milk
Yes.
from New Holland. The first time Nick did it.
Yep.
And doesn't remember 3/4 of the episode because he was so hammered. We stayed after the show ended and played Tecmo, like 4 games of Tecmo Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Because he had to sober up.
Yep.
And then the second time was during drink and draw. I had triple mash this time, and I had to cut an hour and a half out of the show because I was so hammered.
So
Very
actually,
professional here.
You've heard our guest speak and troll me a little bit. So David, introduce our guest for the evening.
So tonight, because it is an election year,
Yeah.
we are doing a fun election episode. We are joined by Peter Kulas Dominguez, who is running for a probate judge position in Kent County, Michigan. We're going to ask him all about what it takes to run a campaign and a whole bunch of other fun stuff. So, Peter, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having
Tell
me.
it. So you already kind of mentioned it, but tell us what girly amazing stuff you're drinking.
It is I don't even remember what it
Oh,
was.
it's in all the sips.
It's an ultimate sip. Something I don't know, some kind of lemonade thing.
Say
I couldn't. I'm so tired. If I drank, I wouldn't make it more than
No,
like 15
we
minutes.
completely get it. So we're gonna start out real quick because this is the question he loves the absolute most. What political party are you running for as a judge clerk?
As a judge, I cannot disclose any political affiliation that I have. It is a nonpartisan position. So unlike the Supreme Court of Michigan, where political parties actually nominate people for it, here in Kent County, we've got a couple different judge positions on the ballot. We have a 63rd district, we have 17th Circuit, and then of course we have mine, which is the probate court. All of them are nonpartisan.
So you're gonna have to forgive me.
You need me to spell that for you?
Please do, because gosh, this guy knows I'm uneducated. All right. Walk me through the difference between probate court and traditional court. What would you call it?
Sure. So probate court generally is handling all the stuff when someone passes away. So if there's a will involved and people are fighting over it, they go to probate court. Or if there's not a will and people are fighting over what to do with stuff, they'll go to probate court. If you have somebody that you feel is mentally incapacitated and you need to get them help that they won't of their own try and get, you can go to the probate court and get orders to handle that. And then they also do like guardianships, whether they're for minors or for adults. But when I get elected into the position, I won't be doing any of that because this particular probate court or probate judge spot is going to be slotted into the family law docket. So I'll just be doing nothing but family law. So a little tidbit, we have 5 probate judges in Kent County. 2 of them do actual probate works, that stuff that I already mentioned. 2 of them do nothing but family law work. And then 1 of them does family, probate, and the small business docket.
So what's your background? So you're going for the judge position. That just doesn't come up out of the blue. So what is your background?
So I've been an attorney for 15 years. I've been doing nothing but family law the entire time. I actually have been on the court appointed list for Kent County. So I've represented kids and parents in child protective proceedings. I've represented kids when they've been charged with crimes. I ran my own firm from, 2009 to 2017. Then I went to work for Warner Norcross and Judd. So I was with a big firm, one of the largest firms in Michigan. Up until basically I took the bench as a referee, which was done in 2001. So I was with Warner for almost 4 years. And then now I've been on the bench as a referee, presiding over child protective proceedings, divorce cases, unaccompanied minors, delinquency cases, all the same stuff that I'd be doing when I get elected. I've been doing as a referee for the last 3.5 years.
Well, it sounds like pretty good experience.
I'm of the candidates running in my race, I can take the bench and do the job that needs to be done on day one.
To me, that would seem really important.
Yeah, it is. And I say that not to say anything negative about anybody, but I mean, it's a disservice to families if you don't know what you're doing, because there's a learning curve that goes along with it. Making sure that you know what you need to do to, whether it's a child protective proceeding case or delinquency work or a family law case. You're talking about families' lives, and you're talking about kids' lives, and kids only have 18 years to be a kid before they have to be an adult, and they don't need to be tied up in the legal system while you've got somebody on the bench learning how to do the job.
So, I mean, Nick and I both come from 2 parent, like separated parent households.
Yeah, single family
homes. And of course, I mean, you have a daughter.
I do.
I have a daughter, but she's technically my stepdaughter. So I've had to deal with family courts that I don't necessarily like. Without specifics, I'm sure you those really tough cases come through. My question is, how do you handle that when you're outside of that? Like, you have a really bad case that's, let's say you rule on it in the way you're supposed to, but your conscience might not agree with you. How do you handle that?
So yeah, I've, like I mentioned, I've been on the bench for 3.5 years, and I definitely see a lot of family trauma that then transitions over to secondhand trauma. It's interesting. I'll come home and my husband will be like, "So how was your day?" And I was like, "I don't want to talk about it," and you don't want to hear about it. And so we'll just put like a Disney movie on, as silly as that sounds, but it's just something to get my mind off of it and remind me that the people that come before me is a small segment of the population. And every decision I always make, I'm always trying to make sure I'm putting the kid first. And I tell a lot of people in my courtroom, they talk about like my time with my kid. And I'll say, well, it's not your time with your kid, it's your kid's time with you, which is a subtle distinction, but the focus then becomes the focus is on the child, whereas the earlier statement, the focus is on the parent.
So you just said something there a minute ago, your husband.
Yes.
So, I mean, I know you.
Sure.
And I know your husband. How many people on the LGBTQ community are judges in Kent County?
In Kent County, we had one over in 63rd District. That
Okay.
was Sarah Solinsky,
Mhm.
who was out. She retired after 34 years on the bench out there. So kudos to her because she was just fabulous at her job. She was great. She's well liked. She was great. Yeah, good role model for me and a great mentor for me
Mhm.
as I was, working through my practice over the last 15 years. But other than that, when I get elected, I will be the first openly gay family law judge here in Kent County.
So I was at your kickoff celebration, and you told, a story about growing up and how hard it was in high school and the coming out. And this is something that neither one of you know. So you had that story, and Dawn and I talked about it afterwards. And I mean, my heart ached for you. And I sent a text to my daughter. And I said, hey, I left Peter's, announcement that he's running, and these are his experiences. Did you ever have these experiences? And she texted me back. She goes, nope, never had any of that. Never felt worried, never questioned what you and mom thought, nothing. And it felt like the biggest parenting win of my life, because my child knew no matter what, I didn't give a shit. I just didn't care.
Sure.
And that's not typical, is it?
No. We have kids still that are fearful to even say anything to their family or even at school because if it gets back to their family, what repercussions might come from that, whether they get pulled out of school, get isolated from their friends that are the only support system for them, or the worst case, parents just disown them, kick them out of their house, whatever the case may be. So it's still happening. I want to say it's not happening. It's a different time. Let me say that. It's a different time than when I was in high school 25 years ago, 20 some odd years ago. Where I've talked to kids and adults as I've been on the campaign trail about their experiences growing up and how there's high schools now with LGBTQ alliances and clubs, and there's out kids in their school, and there's some acceptance, more acceptance. It really just depends also the school district itself and whatnot. But I'm glad to see that change happening, but we still have ways to go.
No, I would totally agree.
Yeah, I mean, so
I can't tell if you're about to say something sarcastic
no,
or
no, no.
serious.
Every time I talk, that's usually I've been trying so hard not to say sarcastic things because I'm supposed to make this one of my better episodes. You had mentioned kind of campaigning and getting ready, so I'd like to kind of walk me through what it takes to start campaigning for this. And if you wouldn't mind, start really at the beginning, like, hey, how do you decide that you want to run for this position?
Well, for me personally, there was a lot of discussion with not only my husband, mentors that I've had, Devin Schindler, who's when you get sworn in as an attorney, you have to get a sponsor. And he was my constitutional law professor and became a family friend as I was going through law school. And we're still family friends now. And so he was my sponsor. I talked to him about, his thoughts, and he's been on radio and TV across the state of Michigan. He's a brilliant mind about anything constitutional. And talking about some of my concerns being openly gay in conservative West Michigan, how is that going to impact a vote? And talking about how things have changed over the last couple of years. Talking about things such as the financial piece of not only the money costs to run an election, changes in my role, what I do currently, and how that will affect later on down the line. So there's a lot of discussion there. After kind of had all my questions and felt through, one of the biggest things that I think Devin told me is when I was talking about being openly gay in conservative West Michigan, is like, just think about the impact that you could have on a kid that's sitting in school, not out, fearful of being out, fearful of what he could or she could become or they become in life. And then they're able to see you being you on the bench, and then they could potentially have some hope or that spark to be like, yep, I can be who I am and still be whatever I want to be in life.
Representation, very important.
Correct. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I say, and I think because people learn in different ways, right? Like if I were to see
100%.
somebody that's like me, right, that has something I want, it definitely drives. It's because you have physical proof that it's actually possible. Um, so money wise, I mean, is this all out of your pocket? Are you getting sponsors? What are we looking at here?
Well, so that's the interesting thing too. So, in a judicial race, as a judicial candidate, I am not allowed to ask for money. Neither is anybody in my immediate family can ask for money. In other political campaigns or nonpartisan campaigns, you can ask for money. So there are other nonpartisan campaigns going on, and those individuals can request money. But there's the judicial rules of ethics that you're bound to. So, for example, when I took my new role as the referee 3.5 years ago, I had to switch on some of the boards I served on because I was development committee chair for the Humane Society of West Michigan. And I had to talk with the board and said, hey, I can't be on this board anymore because the majority of what we do is ask people for money for the Humane Society. And I just can't do that because I'm already bound to the judicial code of ethics. And so I kind of switched around, did a lot more governance work there. So it's all been fundraising. We've had a couple fundraisers, donations from, people like in the legal community, friends, family, supporters that have seen me at events, hearing my level of experience, my passion for what I'm doing. It's been a wild ride for it's already August, 8 months. So
You've been planning this for 8 months.
been on the campaign trail since January. And so the first step
Wow.
was we had to get 2,000 signatures just to get me on the ballot. And we ended up turning in 2,800 signatures on the ballot. So judge position is one of I think it's the only one. There might be one or two other ones. So don't quote me on that.
We're quoting him.
That you can't just write a check to get on the ballot. You have to collect signatures. So there's other
Just make fun of me. That's fine. Say sure. So yes, I paid my $100 to be on. Okay.
Oh, no shame. I totally get it.
Oh, I wanted to do this stuff, but it's funny because everybody has an excuse, and I've never been an excuse person. And I was telling somebody this, and they're like, here I thought I had until like September to get my stuff done, and then I went and had surgery and had to heal from that, and then I got sick, and then all of a sudden they're like, hey, just let you know your stuff's due July 23rd, and here it was the 22nd, and I was like, looks like I'm spending that $100 tomorrow with my filled out paperwork. Like, I'm gonna put myself on the ballot. I was like, so I kind of crapped the bed on that one, but it's okay. It's it was $100, and
Well, in all honesty, I think it was a great experience.
Yeah.
Because I looked at it in the sense that A, I have to do it anyway to get on the ballot. B, this is a great time to already start campaigning. Because we were at events, whether it was, we went all the way we did the Cedar Springs Expo, Lowell Expo, Rockford Expo. We were at Women's Expos. We were at all the different.
you did a women's expo, and you're not a woman.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
My husband curated this beautiful relaxation booth that people could just come in, chill, relax.
I can't believe a gay man can put a relaxation
I-
booth together. This is,
Women vote, you know that,
I-
right?
this is why I have gay friends, though. I'm letting you know because they put relaxation things together. And I'm like,
Question,
I'm all about this.
your best friend?
Gay. so just shout out to him. Way to go. It's
Way to go, like it was like a race.
that I got to say it before he did.
Oh, okay.
So,
Not like a game of Red Rover, you know that, right?
bullshit. He asked if Nick can come over.
Nick makes everything a competition,
Okay.
seriously.
If you're not doing
The problem is when we get together, drinking is a competition, then
Well, yeah, you guys are already. Well, I mean,
yeah, we're
in Canada,
we're number two in.
we are
What do you mean already? And calm down. You have a mentor and a sponsor. I don't have to on Bucks and Brews here, okay? Calm down with your. He's over here. "Oh, I got a sponsor. Jeez. So sorry. We love to have fun, and
Yeah.
I want people. So it's funny because
6% on this one.
when we do these things, we talk all the time, and it's oh, hey, why do you ask these? You didn't get handed a list of questions. We want it to be from who you actually are.
Sure.
We want to know things about you.
We do zero preparation because we are professionals here on Bucks and Brews.
No, actually, that is professional, and I'll tell you this. So we went to the Grand Rapids Chamber Econ Club, the Econ Club big event. They had
Paul Isley. Just say yes and sound
Yes.
smart. He's the econ professor for Grand Valley, like world renowned. I'm actually going to go watch him lecture Wednesday. For people that don't believe this, I actually watch lectures. I talk to the people when I say the people because
people.
it's the camera and I care about the people. So yeah. Anyway, the econ,
Yeah.
Paul Isley,
Yeah.
great. You should learn. You should meet him.
I was too busy being a googly eyes over Oprah.
Oprah was here.
Oprah was here.
Oh, nice.
And
Did
so
she bring her yacht?
She did not.
Sure.
Well, she might have. I don't know. But she was talking about her show, and she does the exact same thing. She would never go into the green room and talk. And she gave a great, and I can't remember, it was a while ago, but she talked about how she was always asked somebody like, "Why are you here?" And that was really the only question. And they'd be like, "Well, your producer said they wanted me here." No. Why are you here? And she had it was the first time she got the first Emmy. It was, and I'm totally butchering this story just so everybody knows, but the person's like daughter or cousin got like either killed or something tragic happened, but everybody was always focused on the crime, the trial, everything like that. And she's like, nobody's focusing on my daughter and the fact that she was still a 16-year-old girl, and this could happen to somebody else's 16-year-old girl. And Oprah's like, that's why you're here. That's what we're going to talk about. And she didn't ask her any other questions about that. And they just made her entire show about highlighting her daughter, the 16-year-old, and teenager.
Right.
And that was her first Emmy. And she said she never would talk to people and get prepped ahead of time because she wants to do the same thing you said, authentic self.
Yeah, we want to be organic here and just we're having a conversation.
Yeah. You're like,
so I mean, I
I
look like
my pocketbook says differently.
I did ask some people, I'm like, hey, do you have any questions for Peter? So I did get some questions from people, but for the most part, it's just off the cuff on what do we want to talk about.
But it's so funny because I am, right, we've talked about it because it's very hard because I'm more Republican than most people. And
we'll say conservative, you're not really Republican.
But that's what everybody goes to, right? And so like when you talk about gay things, you're automatically like, oh, you're a liberal, you're this. And it's like, oh gosh. And so one of the things I did prep myself on was I talked to my wife before this because I said, this is going to be a great conversation because I have to understand this is not political. This is not political. This is not political. I was like, he's running for a way bigger, higher, more powerful position, but it's not political. Just the same as when I run and I'm trying to learn as well from you, which you don't understand and believe. But right, like I'm running for a school board that is like non-political, and I have to remember, and I live in Jenison. We talked about this, which is Ottawa County. You were running for Kent County. They're right next to each other. I live in a very much more conservative community than you do. And so it's the people they ask, and it's constant. And so that kind of like brought me to a statement / question. You said you're conservative West Michigan. I agree. West Michigan is pretty conservative, but I'm finding, especially Kent County, especially Grand Rapids.
Oh, for
I
sure.
can't say Kent County, because you mentioned Cedar Springs, you mentioned Lowell. I'd say those are still pretty conservative things, areas. But your new mayor, right, is going to be a Democrat. Nothing's positive yet, but it's Grand Rapids, I find, is turning more on the liberal side. So do you find that it's easier to do that stuff in Grand Rapids than it is to do in, let's say, Cedar Springs or outside areas that are more conservative?
Well, it's been interesting in the sense, like I said, we're at an expo up in Cedar Springs, and what I found in this political season is that as we've been out talking to people, it doesn't seem like it has been in the past, which was one of my big concerns and fears. It was just name recognition. Whereas this season, and I don't know if it's just because of all the political stuff that's gone on in the past 8 years.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to know more information. They want to know who you are, not just your educational and experience background, but who you are as a person. And we had a lot of people that would be at the expos and they'd come around like, no, I got to think about it. And they'd take my lit and they do some research and they come back and like, yep, I looked you up. You're the guy I want to sign. Let me see your petition. I'll sign to get you on the ballot. So
amazing.
It's just been an interesting experience and I didn't know what to expect, but it's definitely been a shock every time. It's like, oh, actually kind of cool. Oh, wow, I learned that.
Well, and you said you did some sales before?
Sales, I did do when I was in undergrad. I worked for Gateway Computers.
Yeah.
So this was back in the early well, it was like late 90s, early 2000s, right when the digital music, digital video explosion was
Oh,
going on.
LimeWire, baby.
Yeah. So I was making
Napster.
really good money. And so it's funny because I graduated undergrad, was making really good money. I had no student debt, and I was living in Phoenix. And every other weekend, I'd go to California, chill in San Diego or LA and whatever, and then come back. And then 2 weeks after I bought my first house, we get the notice that Gateway's closing all their stores, shutting everything down. I'm getting laid off. And it
Oh,
switched my trajectory back. And it's like, okay, I always talked about law school, so that's what I'm gonna do.
good for you. Um, sorry, I lost my whole train of thought on
Well,
that one.
you think about that.
I was
for a
just thinking
minute.
about all the money that you had.
So you mentioned that Grand Rapids itself is becoming more liberal, but
Yeah.
if you look at demographics, where the people are, you'll end up with more liberals. So when we're talking about Michigan, for example, people are in Detroit and Grand Rapids. In the city, they're going to be more liberal. If you look at Illinois, the people are in Chicago, more liberal.
Yeah.
If you look Wisconsin, the people are in Milwaukee or Madison, it's more liberal. When you get to the rural areas, that's where you run into more of the conservatives. And I mean, I have my own theories on that, but typically people complain all the time about California and New York. California is awful. It's run by the liberals. Yep. All the people are there. They're the fourth biggest GDP in the entire world. They're like their own nation. And when you get a large body of people, for the most part, they're going to want to help each other and accept people the way they are. I mean, leftist values as they are right now. I've told you before, I hate the fact that I have to identify as a Democrat. But I mean, that's really my only option at this point is I have to identify as a Democrat because I have leftist ideals.
You keep saying rat wrong.
Right.
Crap, rat.
Anyways,
Say. We have to have fun in here. Say. No, and I agree, right? Like, but people are getting older. The generation, my generation, is getting to the voting ages and the ability to want to vote, right? Because I mean, I remember MTV. You're around my age, a little older, but still. And you know, MTV came out with a big thing like get out and vote, get out and vote, get out and vote. And it was like, holy shit, like this is on MTV, right? And so your vote matters. So anyway, sorry, what I was thinking, the gateway sales job. And the look, you know, you'd mentioned that people are like, hey, I'm gonna take this pamphlet and look it up. In sales, how many people said I'm going to go take a look at this and I'll come back, right? Like nobody came back. So now like people are looking into it. And it's funny because every time I sign a petition, I'm like, I ask so many questions. I'm like, hey,
100%
what do you do?
should.
And people are like, oh, I don't know. And I'm like, so you're just getting a signature. And my wife, she's like, well, it doesn't hurt to just have somebody give somebody a fair shot at it. Yes, it does. And then it's funny because my wife is very, very liberal, which is hilarious to me. And so but then like a Republican will be there, and I'm like, hey, how come you don't just fill that one out? No, because that guy. And I'm like, no, he just wants to get his name on the ballot. Why don't you do that? Because he's and I'm like, that's not how this works. Like, you have to. I'm fair, right? I'm equal opportunity asshole. Sure. So, but all right. So, I know we're going back, but
No, you're fine.
it kind of hit me. So you have all right. You have family law only is what you're going for. There was family law. There was family law, and I heard small business and something else with it with a small business.
Oh, one of our probate judges does probate work, family law work, and the small business docket.
Okay, probate work, family law, and small business. One does or two do family law and probate, and two do strictly family law, correct? Or just two do probate, two do family law.
Correct. The
Okay,
latter.
awesome. So now when you're getting voted on, are they broken down into that? So there's 5 positions available. How many are available in this one currently?
So there's a couple of incumbents that are out there that are running.
Okay.
And they're running unopposed. And there's 3 different races that'll be in the nonpartisan section of your ballot because all of the judicial slots are nonpartisan. So depending on where you live in Kent County, 63rd district encompasses a huge bunch of Kent County. and they have 4 judges running there. If you live anywhere in Kent County, you will for sure see my name in the probate slot, and then you'll also see a 17th Circuit Court slot. And there's 4 people running for 1 spot in there, and then there's 3 people running in my spot.
Okay.
Did that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. No.
Yours answers the question of where you are in the ballot and things like that. Is the position that's available strictly for family law then?
So it's a probate judge position.
Okay.
So the way that it works is our chief judge determines which judge goes to what docket.
Okay.
So in the past, there has never, that I'm aware of, been a predetermination made of who is going to be in what slot. So we've got probate judges, we have 17 Circuit Court judges, we have a family law docket, we have probate docket, we've got civil criminal docket.
Oh.
And so it's already was announced first week in January that the 17th Circuit spot will be assigned a family law docket. So the spot that's being filled is Judge Prusak. He's retired. He had a civil criminal docket. So Judge Clay West is going to slide over from doing family law, and he's going to take over that civil criminal docket, which opens up his spot. Judge Hillary is the probate judge that's assigned a family law docket, and he's retiring. And so that's the spot I'm going for, is his spot. So I'll just slide right in and still keep doing family law.
Okay.
But prior to this year, when people were running, nobody had no idea what was going to go on. If whoever got elected might stay in the spot that was really open, or the court might still shuffle some of the judges around. Nobody was certain until after the election.
Okay.
So this is a unique time in the sense that we know whoever gets elected in the probate spot and in the 17th Circuit spot, both of those 2 judges will be doing family law.
Perfect.
So I know this election on the 6th, the primary election, is important to you.
Absolutely.
So
Can you tell me why?
yeah, that was my question.
So we have to narrow it down from the 3 to the 2 to
Okay.
go to the general election. So I've got to get through the primary, so that way I can be on the general election ballots. That way I can get through the general election, so I can take the bench on January 1.
So you have to be one of the top 2
Correct.
after August 6th.
After Tuesday. Correct.
Tuesday.
And of course, Nick and I are sitting here and neither one of us can vote for you.
I say that, and we were very clear, but we have a small following here, and we're trying every little bit to help you
I appreciate it.
reach that small following. How long are your terms?
6 years.
And then how many terms are you allowed to run?
So this is the interesting thing, which I think is fascinating, considering we have federal judges and like our Supreme Court judges. Supreme Court judges, they're there for life.
Yep.
Yep,
They are.
There's no age out. In Kent County, or at least in Michigan, rephrase, as soon as you hit 70, you can't run for re-election anymore. Which is a very I don't know why it's 70. I already saw your facial expression. No idea why. But the interesting thing is like, if you got, let's say November 5th is the election day and you were 69 on that day, and then November 6th, you turned 70, you can get still 6 years out of that. So you could theoretically go till 76.
It's all right.
Nick has
Still-
a favorite Supreme Court justice.
Me, Donkey Donk Doug, Gangbang Greg, and fucking Brett Kavanaugh. Jesus. I hate that guy so all right, there's people in my life who I've never met who I don't like. That rapist guy I don't like. Okay, yeah, sure, you and your judge shit, keep it fucking together. He wasn't criminally charged. That's completely fine. I don't enjoy the amount of accusations for a person of that, even if they're all accusations, for the guy to still get the fucking judge job. I'm just saying, like, if you were in this position, I wouldn't have you on my show, okay? But you're not, 'cause you're a decent fucking human being.
We know how to rile up each other, and I knew that would fucking rile him up.
Like cattle prod almost.
Dude, it is. It's so okay. Like, if I
Nick and I feel very passionate about certain things, and when you hit one of those things, we are very passionate.
like it
How
because
you really feel?
because as you said, I will, because as you said, you're on it for life. Okay, we have I didn't fucking have any part of this. He elected the one person and is now given this asshole who clearly hasn't have any control of his thoughts, his abilities, his meanings, to now make decisions for the rest of life.
Well, this is also the interesting thing to talk about, in the sense of, I hear sometimes people are like, this is the judge position. What does it matter? It's the local county judge. But this has ramifications all the way up to the Supreme Court, because when the former president was in office, my understanding is that was a 4-year term that puts the most appointed federal judges across the country. And the president gets to select those. So you've put people in positions that make decisions that even if they're wrong and somebody wants to appeal them, it doesn't matter because it goes from that level to a Supreme Court that's already siding one particular way over another. And it's a domino effect. So, if somebody doesn't like my decision, then it goes to the Court of Appeals, don't like Court of Appeals, Michigan Supreme Court. I mean, and it just goes up from there. Same thing in the federal. Don't like the federal, goes to the Court of Appeals, then it goes up to the Supreme Court. And so you always have to think about, even at the bottom level of the ticket, which people always say the bottom of the ticket, it impacts things on so many levels going up.
I would think the bottom of the ticket sometimes is more important than the top,
For sure.
because those are the people that actually affect your life now.
Correct.
It's the closer to home, the closer to it is, the more it affects you, right?
Well, and also it's important to note too, if you do straight ticket voting, like just straight Republican, just straight Democrat, that does not hit any of those nonpartisan positions, such as judges, school board, some of the other things. So you always want to make sure that if you do straight ticket, just make sure you find those nonpartisan and vote for those.
See, I love how absentee has changed in Michigan, because I'm an absentee voter. I vote in Kalamazoo County. I don't really want to take a day off and drive down there to vote. So I get my absentee ballot. I have the ability to go and look up every candidate and see how they really feel. So my daughter also votes absentee. So when, the primary came out, she goes, all right, Dad, let's look this up and see what I want to do.
Sure.
So I'll sit there and I'll go, well, these are your choices. This is, where they stand. What do you want to do? And she'll go, well, I don't like what that person stands for. So I want to go over here instead, because I actually do like what that person stands for. And that's something when I started voting in 1996, I didn't have those options. I walked in there and half of the people I'd never heard of before. So, I like this guy's name, I'll vote for him, or whatever the stupid criteria I had was. Like, I remember voting the first time I voted for president was Bill Clinton. I did pretty good job wise and stuff for the first 4 years under Clinton. I mean, I was still in high school for some of that, but I'm like, all right, well, he's done okay. I think I'll vote for him again. But beyond him, I had no idea who the hell I was voting for.
And think about, we talked earlier about the digital music and all that explosion. I mean, the internet has just opened up things so much, and the fact that you can sit at home. And I've heard this from a lot of people as I've been canvassing and talking to people post turning in my signatures, how they're doing the exact same thing. I can sit at home, have my laptop up, have a beverage, research every single thing that I want to research, take my time, because then you don't feel the pressure of being in the booth with the line of people out the door, and you just like, I gotta get this through because I don't want to, those people are going to judge me because I'm in here too long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just take your time and just do whatever you need.
Oh yeah. Well, and it's funny because I truly believe that we need to lower the education level of how things are written, right? So if I'm voting for do you believe that we should maybe not somewhat kind of say yes to prop number 2? Maybe not. Is there 5 double negatives in that thing? Like, am I son of a bitch? Like, which way, but I
When you talk about that, it's even just the campaign laws themselves are extremely archaic. Just even
uses big words, jerk.
Old. They're old.
See, thanks.
You're welcome. That's what I'm here for. In the sense that you've got all these rules and regulations about when you're collecting the signature, like it has to have X, Y, and Z. You have to have the right abbreviation, or you have to have the right this, and you don't do that. It's either, and I get the point to it, because like I said before, what would happen in a judicial race if you could just write a check? I mean, you have to be a lawyer no matter what to be a judge. Theoretically, most lawyers are going to have more disposable income. So you would, instead of having a primary with 3 or 4 candidates, you might have a primary with 20, 30 candidates that you have to then cycle through if people could just write a check to get on the ballot. So it's just been interesting. I've been learning, like I said, it's been a big learning curve because I've never done anything political campaigning wise for my own family or anything like that. I've helped with other judge campaigns, but nothing to this extent.
So this is a a selfish question. So you have to fill out where your funds are going.
Mhm.
And how often do you have to turn that in?
So campaign finance reports were just due last Friday. So
Yeah.
you can actually access every candidate's across the state of Michigan for how much they've raised, what they've spent it on, who they've spent it on, whether the candidate themselves is self-funding themselves, or if they're getting their money from, one donor, two donor, three donor, or a variety of donors. So all of that was actually disclosed last Friday.
I say at this moment, my goal is to spend less than $1,000, so I don't have to report a damn thing.
Sure.
And this is a tip for anybody that's doing it. I don't know if you know. So I happen to own my own graphics company, right? So you have your own shirt on. I give you very much credit for that. That's awesome. Congrats. Also, before we get any farther, I want to congratulate you on some of the first words you said, right? And I should have done it then, but we were in conversation. You said when I become, right? The words you use, I'm very happy with how you speak. Right? When I become, when I am, right? You're a very positive, forward thought thinker, and I love that about you. So back to the non-homo stuff. I know, but
Anything with feelings, apparently, it's homo.
hey, don't be like that. No, I'm hoping to spend less than $1,000, but I have to still keep track of it in case I get over $1,000, because then I turn into Trump and end up in jail. I mean, no, I don't. I'm just kidding.
I mean, he won't, but you
We'll
will.
keep this.
Yeah, you will.
I know it'll be crazy. Anyway, what I was saying is, I used to own. I still have all my stuff to make my own shirts, and so I was like, hey, this is a weird question. If I make my own yard signs and I make my own shirts, how does that? And she's like, look, you have to pay fair market value, right?
It's
And
an
so
in-kind donation.
that's it, right? And so I was like, oh, because like I can't take from mommy because my grandma was broke. But like if she gave me $1,000, I could turn it into $3,000 worth of stuff. Let's just say I can't do that.
Nope.
I have to do it. And so that's something just for anybody to know. If you have your tips and tricks and secrets to cut money, you can't legally do that again legally. So sure, find your friend to write you a receipt for whatever price, but that's on you. Do what you got to do, but do things by the book, do things the right way, and you're going to be just fine. So I enjoy your shirt. It's got too many
Thanks.
words on it, but I like that it's green with a check mark.
I'm going to ask a question I know the answer to.
Daily Double.
Why did we pick the colors we picked?
Oh, why did we pick the colors we picked?
We told you this.
Nope.
Yeah, we did.
I was sick.
So everything has been very intentional through our process. So we worked with a marketing company called Rebel and Fox. They're local here in Grand Rapids. They're awesome and fabulous. And we kind of just met with them and said, these are our thoughts. This is what we want to do. And so you look around and you look at yard signs all over the place, and most of them are all in red, blue, and white. And it's like, I don't want to just blend in with everybody. I want to stand out. And they're like, well, what colors would you use? And it's like, well, I like purple and he likes green. He'd be my husband because those are our wedding colors. I'm like, okay. And then we just talked about other things. And the check mark is actually a nod. I like to play nerdy board games. And so when you look at your rule book, you see the check mark in the nerdy rule book. The lavender is an ode to the queer community. And then the font for the Kent County probate judge is a font that's used primarily in Star Wars books. So everything was very.
I'm promising you didn't tell me none of this.
We sure did.
Nope.
Yep.
I was sober that day.
I know that
The only
I
time
heard
you-
this story. I don't know if you've heard
It's
this.
not your story in any way, shape, or
Oh,
form.
because you didn't ask.
I was
You
waiting
were
for
not-
Bucks and Brew.
Oh, okay.
I didn't. That's you put so much detail
He,
into that.
he put a lot of thought into this
Like,
because I
here-
remember sitting at the kickoff for the campaign.
Yeah.
And Don goes, I wonder why they're using green and purple in everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. And then all of a sudden Peter starts talking about it and we're like, oh, that makes sense.
Well, that's the hard part is like, right, my favorite color is purple and it draws my eye, right?
What
And-
what phone case do I have?
So yours is purple too. But like you probably didn't see my purple car out there, my purple phone case. Like my wedding color is purple, right? Like it's
I built my lightsaber, purple crystal.
yeah, you
Yeah.
did. Say I got to play with a lightsaber shing 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 shing, and it does the shing shing and it makes different colors.
I don't think that's the sound it makes, but yes.
Ching ching
That-
ching ching.
that's a slot machine.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's ching 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 ching. Actually, my slot machine goes insert more money, insert more money. Say,
Wah, wah.
right? Like I'm horrible at gambling. I do it. I love it, but I'm horrible at it.
So you're running against three people.
Two
Three
people.
Yes,
Right,
he's one
there's
of
three of you, sorry.
Correct. No, that's fine.
Um,
There was three.
what sets
Was it?
you apart?
Nope, please go ahead.
Um, like I said, the one thing that sets me apart is I've been on the bench already
Mhm.
doing the job for the last 3.5 years. So I have the experience doing, and so I went from advocating for parents, advocating for kids, to making very tough decisions that impact families and kids. And I've been doing that for 3.5 years. So like I can literally get on the bench day one and do exactly what needs to be done day one. That's what separates me from my opponents.
So this is a normal job. I was going to say the word real. This was a normal job. You would just be promoted into this position, but because it's voted, you have to go now tell everybody who's outside you are the right real deal.
Correct.
So the
Well, you
question,
can also be appointed by the governor. So I went through an
we
appointment.
got some people that know some people.
Well, where were they like last year?
Me and Big Gretch, we've met each other on the island. We hung out. She happened to be on
Beers and Brews?
Mackinac Island the same time I was there. And so I got to yell out, "What up, Big Gretch?" And she looked at me and yeah, Gretch and I, we're tight. I mean,
Have you had on Buds and Brews?
Buds and Brews, no, Bucks and Brews, maybe real soon.
Bucks and Brews.
It's
Sorry.
like, what a jerk. We have this guy on, gets our name wrong, it's right behind us.
It's all
no,
right.
I screw it up all the time.
They hit end right now.
It's like, and we're done.
We'll be back
No.
after this commercial.
Have I had her on?
And
No.
no commercial.
You know what? I know that her time is she almost became president, right? I mean, then they went with Harris instead because she said, "I'll wait my little bit of time." But no, I didn't know you could be appointed. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I mean this is a little
For,
side.
for that. I hate to sound negative. That low of position, you can be appointed for.
So anytime there's a judge position where someone doesn't finish their term, there's an appointment. So like Sarah,
Yeah.
so like Sarah Smolinski out with 63rd, she retired. Her last day was July 14th or something like that.
Yeah.
And so there's going to be an appointment for her position to fill the remainder of her term. And so I was up for the appointment last year, got all the way through the interviews with the governor's office, all of that. And I obviously didn't get it because now I'm running. And everybody kept saying, there's 2 district court positions that are coming up. Why are you gonna put in for that? Are you gonna put in for that? I was like, no, I'm not. I want to do family law. Like that's all I've done. I care about families. I care about kids. And district court does misdemeanor criminal defense and small business or not small business, spacing on it. Small claims. I don't want to do any of that.
So why is your passion there?
I say we got him. Like he started becoming passionate about this. I was letting him roll with it. I loved it. Just seeing it for a second. I want to do family law.
I do. It takes a special skill set to be like you mentioned earlier. I mean, you're seeing families and parents and kids at their worst.
Mhm.
And it's about making sure that you're making decisions that hopefully are going to help the family going forward. And I always remember I had a case when I was in practice, at the time when I hear a lot of times, I want to, kids can testify. The kids will testify. It's like, we don't want to bring them in. And I try to keep the kids, even in my courtroom, out of the adult conversations of what's going on. And the court has the ability to interview kids privately without the parents involved, without the attorneys involved. And it's just me, the kiddo, and then my clerk, because somebody has to manage the recording process. And I can get their authentic preference or whatever they have to say or whatever they want me to know about what's going on. So I don't know. I really genuinely love doing what I'm doing.
That's great. I mean, you don't find people that like to wake up every day and do what they do. Did I ask? Say no. I have to cross things out. All right. So you get this
It's very
position.
technical.
Don't worry about my pen and paper. I'm a 90-year-old. Okay. I have a spiral notebook here. So you get this judge position. Where to next?
Judge position.
Until you're 70.
I don't know if I'll be there till I'm 70, but so as I mentioned earlier, there's shift in the courthouse for whatever reason. There is a docket in the courthouse where some of those families are going to be on their 6th judge starting in January. So in 2000, I gotta check the years right, around 2016, I believe, 2 of the judges separated their docket. So the family docket consists of divorce and child protective. Well, one judge just started doing nothing but child protective, and one judge just started doing divorce. And then the judge that was doing just the divorce. So they went from one judge over to this other judge. And then that judge handled cases up until 2020, retired. Then they got a new judge. So it's the third. Then that judge got moved over to civil criminal. So they got another judge last year. Then when another judge got elected in, they re-scrambled the egg back. So then they merged the dockets back together. So then they went over to that judge. And now that judge is getting moved over to 17th Circuit Court again. So now that family is going to have a new judge in December. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 judge. It's since 2016. That's a lot to go through. So, and that's why it's important for people to know that I don't intend to go anywhere. I'm not using this as a stepping stone. I don't want to go to civil criminal. I'm not going to try and go to the federal docket. I just want to do what I'm doing. And why I mentioned earlier about how I didn't get the appointment. A lot of people are like, why do you tell people that? It makes it look like you're not qualified. I was like, it's not that I'm not qualified. It's just the governor chose somebody else. And that's okay.
Crap happens,
Mhm.
right? I mean, yeah, say it shouldn't stop you from still going to achieve the thing that you
Yeah.
love to do. So we can say the governor chose wrong. I'll call it out. Big Gretch, do better, right? She probably didn't know that you knew me,
Oh, okay.
right? That could
I did not put that down in my letter of reference.
had you name dropped, like
I
brother,
should've.
it would have been
I probably
great.
should.
Have you ever heard that Dave joke?
No.
Not this Dave, a different one,
Oh, okay.
right? Where
Because I'm David.
it's no, he's like, hey, oh Dave, oh I know everybody. Oh yeah, cool. Go ask, Jimi Hendrix. Hey, who taught you how to play guitar? Oh, hey Dave, what's going on? And then it's to the Pope, and some guy who stayed in there is like, oh, who's that? Who's that guy standing with Dave? That's and the guy freaks out. So that's
Do you
everybody.
really not go by Dave?
No,
I do
gosh,
not.
no.
I fucking hate Dave.
He does. He does on a cooler.
You want to hear a funny story about Pete?
Uh-oh.
Sure.
We do now.
So I don't like Pete either. But when I was a fledgling attorney, and so we have no, because I used to get Pete beats his meat on the toilet seat when I was in middle school. You can laugh, it's funny. Anyway, so fledgling attorney, we have what's called Motion Fridays in Kent County, where it's just a cattle call. It could be 20, 30 motions, all scheduled at 8:30. You check in, you sit there, you get called. So I'm standing in line and I'm watching these other attorneys check in, and the clerk there is just no nonsense. She means business. She's just she doesn't have a filter. And so she check him in, then she'd turn to the deputy, get a load of that weirdo. And then I would walk up and I'd be like, I'm Peter Kulas, I'm here for today. She's like, okay, Pete, I got you checked in. And my mind processed in 2 seconds. Did I say something? No. Do I? No. Yeah, I'm Pete today. So I went and I sat there.
Oh, see,
I'm totally the opposite of
That's
that.
better than us. Like,
So,
Because clerks, you do not want to get on their bad side.
I mean, I get it. So, at my job, if anybody calls me Dave, I just don't answer.
Huh?
And then they'll do it 3 times, and I'm like, yeah, my name's David. I don't know you.
Sure.
We're not friends. And it's not even that we're friends. So my oldest friends or my best friends, they can call me Dave because they've earned that right.
Sure.
But one of my best friends, we're on a cruise one time and he's calling me David. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? And he goes, well, I know you prefer David. I'm like, yeah, but I've known you for over 20 fucking years and you've never called me David. So fucking stop it. And he goes, well, I was just trying to, do what you want.
Yeah.
I'm like, I totally appreciate it. For you, it's weird. Just stop it. I coach. I just retired from coaching for 21 years.
congrats.
Thank you. And the last coaching job I had, I'm coaching with a guy that was my assistant for a couple of years, and he's called me Dave for many years, and I'm okay with that. And I went up there and he starts calling me Coach Dave in front of these girls. And I'm like, dude, fucking stop it. And he's like, why? Because that's not my name. My name is David. I don't want any kid I fucking coach calling me Coach Dave.
Right.
I am not fucking Coach Dave. So stop that shit.
That's funny.
So I've always, on my driver's license, it says David. On my birth certificate, it says David. I am David. Stop shortening my name. We don't know each other enough for you to shorten my name.
Well, here's the funny thing is, so 10 years after practice,
Uh-huh.
I finally told her, I was like, just you're the only person that calls me Pete. She's like, what? And so she tried calling me Peter, and I was like, oh no,
Yeah, it's weird.
it's weird now. You gotta call me Pete.
100%. They're just those people. One of my,
Isn't a single person I'm going to take Nicholas from.
there was one of my first coaches I ever had. It was actually in soccer. You would love this. It was a friend's dad. He called me Davey from the minute he met me when I was 5 years old.
Davey.
He's one of 3 people in life that have ever gotten away with calling me that. One girl I dated, and the other one was like a mom. There is nobody else in the world that can call me that. I will not answer if you fucking call me that. Those 3, that was it.
Sorry about that, Davey.
Fuck you.
Hey,
I'm also not Mexican.
yeah, bull. All right, so you want to be there for her life.
Not life.
Yes.
No.
For many years.
You're
For
gonna live,
many years.
you're gonna live past 70?
No, I'm not gonna. I want to go enjoy stuff too.
When?
Like, I don't know, my 60s.
Oh, you're gonna retire rich. You're one of those that's gonna take
No,
all
no.
of our money and just leave.
No, I'm gonna go to like Disney World and pick up trash. I have dreams.
Gotta have high hopes. All right, so you had mentioned some stuff, and I'd like to, again, for my own self,
Sure.
you fight will, or you do currently fight, for wills and like people that don't have wills or trust or things like that, correct?
I don't do any of that.
You don't.
I've
You
never done it.
He's just family court.
okay, so but you have people that can do that or do that all day long.
The probate court judges do that.
Yep.
We have a probate registrar that handles anything in the probate realm.
Right. Can you get me that person? Say, because I'm gonna need to create a will and
Well, they
things like-
can't do that for you because they're judicial officers. So
Yeah.
I'd have to get you an attorney. But I know
I
attorneys.
don't want an attorney. I want the person that's going to rule in, like they're the one that wrote it.
Yeah.
Is that really a law that they can't
So I can't give legal advice in my current role.
really?
Yeah, no, it's a
So you're not a
conflict of interest.
lawyer.
I am a lawyer.
Ah,
I can't do
it's
legal. I
not
can't give legal.
practicing.
No,
really?
I cannot give legal advice.
So what do you?
So anytime people like want
I'm
to,
confused now. I mean, because I am. Okay, so what do you actually do all day? Give me a generic like, do you pick, yes, the kid gets to stay with mom, the kid gets, what do you, kind of walk me through a little
Okay,
bit,
so
what a
like-
day looks like.
so like tomorrow morning, I've got motion hearings. So I have 10, 12 different cases that all have a motion filed ranging from, I want to move to this state, or I want to change the kid's school, or I want to change parenting time, custody, or a no contact order. I mean, anything related to any component of your divorce or custody arrangement or parenting time or paternity action. I will sit there from 8:30 till I get through all of those motions and make decision after decision after decision after. So I make a recommendation that gets signed off by the judge to become an order.
You're trying to become the judge to sign the
Yours,
orders.
correct. So that's like a Friday, every other Friday. That's what I do every Friday morning.
Okay,
Otherwise, I'm handling hearings where like CPS is involved and they've removed a child from a family, and I'm handling the case to make sure that the agency is providing the services to the family is doing what they're supposed to do, checking to make sure the kid's doing okay. Cases involving unaccompanied minors. So if they've been, sex trafficked, or they came from like we had a lot of kids from Afghanistan when the regime change happened that fled, variety of reasons why they might be here without parental supervision. I handle those cases. Every other Tuesday morning, I have personal protection order objections. So if you got a personal protection order against somebody and then they want to object to it, they come before me. I listen to their story. I listen to their story. I listen to any other evidence that comes in, and then I make a decision on that. So I literally am making decisions all day long, Monday through Friday, that impacts kids, families, lives.
what do you want for dinner tonight?
And that's the funny thing. I was just going to tell you that.
Hey, this.
So I will come home and I will tell I was like, I really don't care. It's like, no, do you really want? I really don't care. It's not like
You're
that
done
stupid
making
joke.
decisions,
I'm
yes.
done making decisions. It's
Yeah.
not that classic, relationship joke. I really don't. You can, and I don't like Mexican food. So if he were to pick Mexican
End
food,
it. End it. End it.
That's Nick's favorite
We are
food.
never going on a date. I want you to know that.
we actually
Ever.
Cinco de Mayo up in Allendale is a really good Mexican food.
Yeah. I say, okay, we'll go on a date there then, because that's what I like. What's your favorite type of food?
Anything Asian.
Really?
Sushi.
Oh,
Thai
Nick loves
food,
sushi.
Anything. along
Ooh,
those lines.
how spicy?
So I used to like it really spicy, but then we were in a conference in Mexico, and one of the evenings they had a salsa night. So it was salsa dancing, salsa music, and tons of different salsas. And I'm a scooper. Like I like to like fill my chip with
Yes,
a lot of salsa.
that's how life should be.
And so I'm doing this all night long. Well, they moved the salsas around when they refilled it. And the one that I was doing ended up being like the ghost pepper one.
Oh,
And I scooped that shit. And oh my God, my mouth was like, I could not drink enough milk to
Oh.
get that to stop burning.
when you so
And ever since then, I can't do as much spice as I used to.
really?
Yeah.
So when you order your Thai food, pad Thai, labna,
Mhm.
what do you order?
I like pad Thai. I also like pineapple fried rice.
Okay, that's
Usually like a medium spice.
medium. Okay,
And there's another one that starts with an M. It's got like potato slivers in it. Can't remember what it's called though. We like the one. It's over in Fuller and Plainfield. Lai Thai.
Oh,
It's our
okay.
favorite
Yeah.
Thai place.
I say I have to go Bangkok Thai just because down the street and it's funny because like my pad Thai I like it to be clear slash but have there's like clear slash white pad Thai
Yeah,
versus
yeah.
red pad Thai and I don't love the red version,
Sure.
right? I don't get me wrong, I love the curry version, but like yeah, so that's why I have to go with that.
Sure.
And I say it's funny because I love spicy food,
Mhm.
but like Thai heat
Oh, it's
is
definitely.
way different.
Oh, it's whole different. So
way different.
So funny story. So when Angel's Thai opened downtown.
Downtown Greg? Yeah.
Yeah.
Say.
So when they first opened, I was working downtown. I went over there. They used to just have. It was like a no spice, light spice, a lot of spice. It was like a 3-tier something, and I did the middle tier.
Yeah.
And I took it back. I couldn't finish it. It was so
Oh.
hot, and it took them like 2 weeks, and then they started doing their number system.
Well, that's saying that's yeah. Say 1 through 10, baby. Here we go. Right.
Oh, it was no mild hot. That's what it was. It was just no mild and hot. It's like mild. Like that's. Oh no, it was definitely not mild. It was not anywhere remotely near mild.
And like depending on what I do, like there's days where I order a 10, and then there's days where it's like I know I have to accomplish things throughout my day, so I only want like a 2, right?
Sure.
Like I just here for lunch to enjoy myself. Like I don't mind sweating, but there's times where like your nose
yeah.
starts and it takes you an hour to eat it because it's just so I'll still eat it because I'm a man, but say it's say just like you, I'm gonna have so much milk with it, right? Like now my belly's full. So okay, no, and that gives us a great perspective of like what you do all day.
Sure.
And so currently, I mean, are you technically an assistant to the judge then? Or do you guys work together or
So
you work for him?
I don't work for him. I work for Kent County.
Okay.
So I am currently a Kent County employee. I'm a union member. I pretty much the only way I could lose my job is if I basically lost my law license, and that's never going to happen because I'm not going to do anything to jeopardize that.
Sure.
Now, do I work for the judge? Kind of, sorta, in the sense that every referee is assigned a judge. So we have 7 referees, 7 family law judges, and each referee works directly with their one judge. I mean, at the end of the day, the judge is the one signing off on my recommendation. So if the judge doesn't like what I did, they don't have to sign off on it. They can just say, nope, go back from square one and do it.
Really?
They generally don't, because
But they have the ability
they
to.
have the ability to, because the purpose generally of the referee is to help manage the docket, help move it along quicker. And litigants still have a due process in that if they don't like what I did, they think that I got it wrong, they have 21 days from when I make my opinion to then go before the judge. And then they can argue to the judge and say, Peter did X, Y, and Z. He should have really considered this more, or he didn't consider this. You should now do this different decision. And so they always have that option to do it.
Do you have an assistant?
No. Well, I have a clerk.
You have a clerk, okay,
Yes.
which is also hired by the courts.
The courts, correct. So she works for Kent County.
So not for you.
She's assigned to me.
With you, yeah.
Yeah,
Say,
yeah.
but doesn't you? Yes.
Yeah.
Say, you can't fire her.
No.
You could have her a different person, but you can't fire her.
No, that's not my
Yeah,
role.
that's awesome.
Yeah, because I would all go through like HR and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say, that's crazy. How do I get your job?
You have to go to law school.
I do have to go to law
Yes,
school.
you have to be an attorney in order to do my job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even though you can't do attorney
There's no-
shit.
Well, having a law degree opens up a lot more options than just being a lawyer.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of things out there that you can do that other employers look for you to have a law degree without just practicing law.
Oh, see, I
So
learned
you
new
can still
things.
get a law degree and still not be able to practice law because you still have to pass the bar
bar, yeah.
exam. Yeah.
Didn't even think about that. Yeah, see, learn new things today on Bucks and Brews. All right, so we're on to the fun part of life.
Okay.
I wasn't there yet.
Yeah, we are.
No, I have other questions.
I know, but it's a question towards his comment downstairs that we said wait, or maybe it was up here.
Oh, we did talk about that. Go ahead.
No, I say, tear it up. You have a mentor that
So he's already drank.
yeah. Say, geez, I am. Sorry.
You want me to ask the question?
Yeah, please do.
I don't
I
know.
can't get the words. Sorry. You were telling us a story and we said, hold up. It was about the Lowell
Oh, the
Oh, yeah.
mayor.
So this
I'm
is
glad you remembered because I didn't.
No,
And I'm
sorry.
not wrong.
I was like, I can't think of how to ask this question. You have a Lowell mayor that signed your petition to be able to get petitions or something?
So like I mentioned before, we had to go out and collect 2,000 signatures, and we
Yeah.
ended up turning in 2,800. I had a 91 point something% accuracy rate, which is pretty high.
Mhm.
For those that know. And I say that because certain things could cause the signature not be valid. They didn't sign it correctly. They're not a registered voter. They're not in the county. Variety of things. And so we were at the Lowell Expo with my booth with my my lit, blowing our shirts, talking to people, getting the word out, and asking for signatures. And a gentleman comes by, and I see him, and I'm like, "Is that a Skeletor Havoc staff tattoo on your arm?" And he's like, "Yeah, how do you know that?" I was like, "Because it's He-Man. How do you not know?" And we ended up having like this 20-minute conversation about He-Man, Thundercats, all 80s pop culture, kid stuff that him and I grew up watching and whatnot. And when we were done, he's like, "I don't usually sign these." And he might have even said, I don't think he's ever signed one of these before, but I'm going to sign your petition based on this great conversation we had. And then he gives me his card and he says, "If you need anything, just let me know." And it was a busy day. I put the card in my wallet, and I go back and I said, "Thank you. It was nice meeting you." And he goes, "Bye." 8 hours later, we're packing up, going everything, getting home, and I'm digging through. And it's like, I show Carlos. I was like, "Dude, that's the mayor of Lowell that I talked to for 20 minutes and signed the petition." So since then, we scheduled another time to talk. Just to get to know each other. I mean, that was more just like a fun, silly conversation, but this was more to get to know like what I'm doing, what he's doing. And this is after I got the signatures I needed. And yeah, so he's one of the mayors in Kent County that's endorsed me for my race.
That's
So,
great.
You should get Steve Moss to sign for you. The mayor of Granville.
Part of Granville is in Ottawa County, and part of Granville is in Kent County, because the dividing line goes like right in the middle of it.
Gotcha. I say for the voting aspects.
Yeah.
I say he's just honestly he
But I'm happy to talk to him.
He's just a great human being.
Yeah.
For the conversations we've had.
Sure.
So,
Well, and that's the great thing that I've been doing. So like every endorsement that I've received, it's not just been a text message or a passing by at a meeting of, "Hey, will you endorse me because you're a fill in the blank." Every single person I've had some kind of sit down conversation, one-on-one, get to know you, get to know me, find out if we really gel and connect. Because I've been running my campaign very transparent, very family focused, very community focused. And so every single one that we've got, it's been a great, and that's been probably one of the most interesting and fun parts of the experience, even though I am traditionally an introvert, but just getting to know all these other, important people that are out there doing important work for, Kent County and Michiganders.
So I'm going to take a left turn here.
Yeah.
Because you just brought up nerdy shit.
I didn't. He did, nerd.
Proud of it.
So, I mean, when you start talking 80s cartoons, that gets my juices flowing. Because again, Thundercats, He-Man, G.I. Joe.
Oh, 100%.
And he prays.
I just watched the He-Man or the G.I. Joe animated movie like 2 weeks ago. I own it,
Yeah.
but I just love that intro.
Yeah.
It's just so much fun. The music and everything, and the animation is really great.
Well, the
about
other one for me
VHS?
was Transformers.
On DVD. They just released the Hasbro Presents Transformers soundtrack from the cartoon show from the 80s.
Oh.
That just came out like last Friday.
So
He's gonna like to check out.
I went.
I'm gonna start drinking beer.
I went to the Transformers movie. I made my mom take me. She fell asleep. That was what, like 1987. You weren't quite born yet.
I wasn't born yet.
Yeah.
Did you cry?
I did, because Optimus Prime died.
No.
Well, and a lot of people don't know that that's how we got Prime Day.
Yeah. Nick's sitting here
Are you
going,
guys,
what?
are you guys for real?
Yeah, that's why we have Prime Day.
Shit.
It's because Optimus Prime.
Fine.
Yeah.
You're gonna make fun jokes. You said the judge retired on July 14th. That date will always stick in my brain because of Con Air. My daddy's coming home on July 14th, and he just wants the fucking bunny. So Nicolas Cage, way to go. July 14th, stuck in my fucking brain.
Right.
So there you go.
So
And I will now always and forever remember a judge in Grand Rapids retired on July 14th. The same day Nicolas Cage is going home to see his daughter from Con Air with a stupid bunny.
so Nick knows this.
You're welcome. Is
Thanks.
that really Prime Day? Fucking this guy dies? A vehicle dies?
Yeah. Do you know gullible's also not in the dictionary?
Yeah, it's on the ceiling. Check it out. Look, there's a dead bird flying.
So Nick knows I love to go to Comic Con.
I could see this being an actual. I could see Musk being that big of a nerd. I just
No,
know
I can't.
it's
No,
what's his,
he's a
what's
douche.
his face?
Yeah, I have to concur.
Bezos. There you
Yeah,
go.
no.
No, he's a douche too.
Mhm.
Anyways, you know I love to go to Comic Con.
Mhm.
So a couple weeks is Fan Expo.
Okay.
I'm gonna go see Luke Skywalker again.
Star Wars.
Yeah,
It's called
Star Trek.
Star Wars.
Yep.
And
Also the voice of the Joker.
he was
Batman animated series.
Oh,
one of the best cartoons ever. And of course,
Oh,
there's many people.
Did you watch
who-
Cape Crusader yet?
I've
Just came out
not.
today.
I've not.
you haven't watched it yet? I can't believe. What have you been doing all day?
Female penguin. I don't know how I feel.
I don't know how I feel about that. Either. That's
If it's not,
weird-ish. I didn't really
It's
like
Danny
the
DeVito
female
one.
Robin either.
it's got to be Danny DeVito. It's the only way to do it.
But anyways,
Could be worse.
One of the
My
thi-
nose could be gushing blood. It's one of the best lines.
I could see it.
we're getting a photo op, Caitlin and I.
I love how he keeps wanting to keep telling.
I
the
do.
story,
I'm gonna
and
keep
I
telling the story with
interrupting
the two
him.
of you
Selfie.
talking about your shit. Anyways, with Peter Cullen and Frank Welker. And
I know
Nick's
Wes
gonna go,
Welker.
I don't know who the
I know
fuck
Wes
that
Welker.
is. Yeah, he was a wide receiver.
Hey,
Do you know Peter Cullen and Wes fuck you, Frank Welker? So
The voices of Optimus Prime and
Megatron.
Megatron. Yeah,
I'm
actually, I do know.
so fucking excited.
I do know
because,
do you
again-
know how he got the role?
Peter Cullen?
Yes, Optimus Prime.
Tell the story, but yes, I do.
No, anyway, so he just goes in for this interview
Yep.
and they said, "Hey, can you say something?" So he remembers his brother
Yep.
who was in the military and he goes, "Hey, look, just talk like a normal military person."
Yeah.
And so he goes and speaks like this and then he does the voice, which is pretty badass.
It is.
Hello.
The voice
I
of
am
Optimus
Prime.
Prime.
Just like
It was based off of his brother.
yes, which is great.
Which is the greatest fucking thing ever.
Yeah.
I didn't
So-
know that.
You're welcome. See, I know nerd
Yeah.
shit. Bam, nailed it.
That's like the one thing you know.
It kind of is the one thing you know.
It's
Yeah.
Pink-
So
Because you know nothing about
I could just
Star
totally see
Wars.
Pinky in the brain in his brain, like
Uh-huh.
spinning on the little
oh
hamster wheel.
100%.
what he wanted to do tonight. I love that show.
That was a great shot.
The same thing we do
Every night, Pinky.
I tried to take over the world.
But do you know the song?
Pinky and the brain. And then Animaniacs would come on, so which I absolutely love. But
You
Uh,
were a young kid then.
oh yeah, of course.
I was in my teens.
So you didn't
in,
watch it?
in high school. No, I'm not saying that. I
You
was
know
in
what
high
goes
school.
downstairs in one ear in pairs and makes a clunkety sound?
Slinky.
It's log. It's log.
Isn't that Ren and Stimpy?
Yes.
Still love to
I
Ren
think we
and
did like a
Stimpy.
total like sidestep
I
there.
know you're welcome
Okay.
because those are my generation. cartoons.
Those
No, I
MTV
thought-
cartoons were some of the best.
I like Doug and I like Rugrats.
Me too.
Yeah.
Patty Mayonnaise. Who didn't like the girl? Anyway, just
I like
saying.
Daria though. with
Oh
her
yeah,
sarcastic
of course.
Yeah.
All right, cool. We all have anyway,
Now
back
that we're
to
nerding
you.
out.
All right, so are you judging questions?
Yeah, I do have a question.
Okay,
I have
From a
to pull it up,
listener?
though. Kind of, sort of.
okay, from a listener.
So,
Why do I feel like I'm on Delilah for some reason?
All right, so
you might be.
can we talk about this real quick, just for
Okay,
22
go ahead.
seconds?
Delilah?
Yes. What do you think of Delilah?
I don't know how to answer that question.
You're on Bucks and Brews, and you're giving. So it's funny. I love to listen to Delilah. Right.
What's it?
My mom,
Really?
also me. Okay, so a woman who gives relationship advice, who's been married 5 times, probably shouldn't be giving relationship advice.
Sure.
I'm just saying, like, let's talk.
But she has like a nice calming voice.
She does have
does.
a great calming voice, but my problem is also, hey, Delilah, my boyfriend and I have been together for 3 years. Can you play us a love song? And then she plays like, I don't know,
Something from Celine Dion.
let's say, or bap, 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 doo, wap. It's like nobody's gonna have that as their wedding song. But great, I get that she can't play the same songs like over and
Yeah.
over. But it's just like some of the things she's like, hey, can you play me a real? and then she plays like a ridiculous song. You know,
I'm just gonna
it's that
say,
80s Joel, right?
I have not listened to Delilah since the fucking 90s.
Oh,
I didn't realize she was still on.
yes, she is.
I forgot why we were listening to her. Why she was on the radio.
I just can't stand other music.
Because I have a radio commercial on. I think she's on 105.7.
Okay.
Fine. Yeah.
She is, of course.
Yeah.
Star 105.7.
Yeah, and that's where one of my radio ads.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Great. I'm gonna have to listen for this now. Within the next 4 days.
So
Anyway, sorry, go on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just it's very hard for me.
I get it.
Five divorces. It's like Trump telling me how to, have a relationship with his 3 wives and 15 baby mamas. And yeah. But one thing I will give the guy credit for is his whole kids love him. Like they have his back through and through.
Well, yeah, because he supposedly has money.
baby.
Right.
Right.
So
Well,
here's
Anna Nicole Smith, same thing.
yeah.
People
Here-
do weird shit for money.
Here's a question.
He wasn't that weird.
In a different world,
Uh-huh.
Uh-oh.
what would you do if you were not doing this? Like, what was the dream job?
Being a writer.
Really?
Okay, so let me backtrack. So the dream job was telling stories.
Mhm.
So coming back to my gateway days. What's your face?
Well, this explains the DM stuff. And by that I mean dungeon master
Yeah.
for D&D. Okay, I don't want
Yeah.
people to think whatever.
So when I was in undergrad, I was supposed to go to U of A down in Tucson.
Mhm.
U of
And-
A,
U of A. Oh,
Arizona.
University of Arizona.
where Michael Phelps went. Do you think you're Michael Phelps worthy?
I don't know what that is.
You don't know.
kidding.
It was like the
Shut up,
greatest-
you got me on that
Like, I
one.
love messing with them.
like I met my first ever gay man that didn't know who he was, and I was just
Sports ball, yeah.
I was so appalled by this. I was like,
My
oh
daughter does not like dudes. So she fucking was in love with Michael Phelps.
see that.
Um,
Sorry.
No, you're fine. So I was supposed to, they had a digital movie program. And so I bought I got this great huge computer that could do all the digital video editing. I got a digital camcorder, it was all set to go. And then life happened and things happened. And I had to go to switch to Arizona State. And they didn't have that program. So I ended up doing English Lit, which was the closest thing they had to any kind of like creative writing minor and whatnot. So I'd written a couple short stories, some poems back then, and I've done 2 novels since I've been an adult. A lot of it changed when
You've
Amazon.
written 2 novels?
Yeah,
Published?
yeah, they're on Amazon Prime.
All right.
And so that's
We don't let people do this, but go ahead. Give a shout out to your novels.
Oh, so one's called Aberration is the first one, and the second one is Incursion.
I'll let you know I'll never read them, but that's awesome.
So
You,
it's
you
a
don't read.
it's a sci-fi fantasy series where the main characters are LGBT.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, this is why I don't meet people with power positions. Like,
This is why.
yes.
This is why. This is exactly why.
It's not because I can't hang out with them. It's because holy crap, I find out you guys are weird as shit, just like me. So that's all right. So you wrote books on sci-fi nerdy things
So
and
it's-
they published.
So it all happened because Amazon Prime has their own self-publishing.
Yep.
And I think if it wasn't for that, I probably never would have had them done because a friend of mine from high school told me about it. And I'd always had these ideas and sketches and outlines done up. And then once he said, yeah, you can do it self-published through Amazon. I was like, oh, so my dream could actually come true.
What does this mean?
What do you mean?
Self-publishing.
So normally you have to pitch your story to some book company, like, and then they will go, it'll sit on a desk with a bunch of people.
Scholastic,
Yeah.
yep.
And then they figure out whether or not they'll decide to publish your book versus you go to Amazon, you upload your manuscript with your cover and then they print it on demand. So they don't have it sitting in a warehouse. You don't have to keep inventory. You just go to Amazon, you click it, and then they print one copy out and then ship it off to you.
Pops and pennies is becoming a thing. All right. So
We're
we
gonna have a Pops and Pennies book.
well, we talked. You weren't there for that part of the conversation.
Oh, was I?
Yeah. So
I don't know what this means. but
nope.
I'm
Pops and
concerned.
pennies. Okay, so we are Bucks and Brews.
Yes.
Okay,
We have many names.
We are an adult. We are an adult podcast
Where we drink beer.
and talk money and curse.
Okay.
We also are Pops and Pennies. Hi, I'm David. This is Nick.
Are you David?
This is Nick. That's who we are. Right? We switch everything about
I've
us.
been Nick twice now.
We completely switch everything about us.
Not Nicholas.
That's a fact.
Correct.
But anyway, so no, we strictly we are.
See, if anything, that's when you should do. You should be Nicholas and you could be
Dave.
Davey.
Oh,
I'm
there
in.
you go.
So anyway, no, we are strictly, 10-minute podcast at the absolute longest. We do not curse. We
drink pop.
Yep, and we talk
Soda.
Nope.
Either or.
You bake with soda. You drink pop. Let's be clear about
Soda.
something. So look. You could be a judge and still be wrong.
Soda.
Show me the legal.
Soda pop.
I'm not going to agree because now I'm just done with you. Okay, but you drink.
Soda.
No, you drink pop. You
Soda.
bake with soda. It's baking soda. Anyway,
Soda.
so here we go. So we drink pops. We talk to. We focus 10-minute episodes for children. So we ran a drink and draw on Bucks and Brews and talked to some artists. By we, I mean I. And I said, hey, I want to put out.
I was there for the first hour and a half.
I want to put out a financial book, right? With
I do kind of remember this. They were going to be our illustrators.
and so one of our Jack Razor is kind of interested in doing this. So I'm gonna have to do the writing because I'm horrible at this. Dave will have to be my editor.
I guarantee
So that way
he will not remember this conversation either.
Oh, he's going to because he'll do things for me, which is great. I just ask nicely.
Sure.
And anyway, so I want to put out a Pops and Pennies book about how to teach young kids to start investing. Like, because we can get into it, but we do a 3-jar system, right? Spending, savings, and giving. And so I'd like to just kind of put that into quick pages and words. And so I didn't know that we could literally make this just happen without having to.
Yeah.
This is awesome. So thank you for the tip of the day besides your Panera, which you're really killing that lemonade.
Like lavender lemonade, I think.
Oh, my wife made me try lavender ice cream once.
I don't like lavender ice cream. There's just something about that it's tolerable. I need a sugar rush.
Tolerable as he's still got like David. This is why we're fat and he's a skinny little girl. All right, like
Oh no! I had a dozen cookies already today.
that's the same
He just has better metabolism than us.
metabolism.
Yeah.
No, that's great.
So,
You know what they have at Costco that's really fucking good right now?
Have you say those
churro
cookies?
donut holes.
That's it.
They're so.
He knows they're so fucking good.
I had like 12 of them before I came here.
My wife, now has celiac disease and cannot have gluten. And she walks in the house the other day and she sees these churro donut holes and she goes, just lie to me and tell me they taste like shit. I'm like, honey, they taste like shit. I will never buy them again. They're just the worst fucking thing ever. And she goes,
Hate you.
all right, I can't tell if you're being serious now or if you're telling me what I want to hear. So for just a moment, tell me the truth. I'm like, they're so fucking good. She goes, all right, I don't need to hear anything else.
I've eaten an entire tub of those in 24 hours.
They're so
I'm not
fucking
mad. I'm
good.
impressed. Like
Nick, they're the greatest fucking donut holes I've ever had in my
I
life.
went to Costco today because my buddy wanted to have lunch.
Uh-huh. You didn't go get churro donut holes?
Nope, didn't know there were a thing.
You fucking need to go back.
Well, I don't have a membership. I will tell you that we probably set a new record for most hot dogs.
How
and
many?
Don't worry about it.
So here's the thing you don't know about us, Peter. Nick and I have a irrational love for hot dogs. Like I could be a vegetarian,
Except for hot
but I
dogs.
can't give up hot dogs because I love hot dogs.
See, I only get excited for a hot dog at Disney World at Casey's Corner. And I don't know if it's just like the nostalgia of it and whatnot, but I don't know. Every single time we go to Disney World, I have to get a hot dog at Casey's Corner.
So Nick's birthday, what did you serve at your birthday?
Hot dogs.
Hot dogs.
But a whole hot dog bar with like all the toppings, peanut butter. I mean, you gotta come try some hot dogs.
See, I would do that for chicken tenders.
Chicken tendies.
Yeah. With
I
a bunch
like
of different
chicken tenders.
sauces.
I make my own sauces.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, I don't want. We
We're
were specifically told we
tangenting
had.
a
We were
lot here.
specifically told we had to make this a good episode. So I want to get back to being a good episode.
Okay.
So, why are you wanting to be a judge versus staying where you are? Like, what's the want for that?
So as I mentioned, a lot of it is at the end of the day, it's not my decision. It ends up being the judge. So I want to be able to impact twofold. I want to be able to impact lives in a way that I know I'm able to be the one that's the final say. So when people are in my courtroom, I hold everybody accountable, whether it's kiddos that are in the delinquency system, whether it's their parents, whether it's agency workers, whether it's the attorneys. And I'm like, I'll tell attorneys all the time, like the court rules apply to everybody, not just you, not even when people are self-representing themselves, they still are held to that same standard. So I hold everybody accountable. So that's one part of it. And the other part is what I kind of alluded to earlier is when I was growing up as a closeted gay kid, I didn't see anybody out there that was in the professional world that was gay. There were a lot of stereotypes of what people presumed gay people were. And I'm like, I'm not that. I'm not that. I don't relate to that person. And so I kind of feel like it helps put that representation on the bench, and it helps be I'm hoping to be someone that other gay kids can look up and be inspired to know that they can have the strength to come out if that's what they need to do, have the strength to realize that they can do whatever they want to do, and they can be whatever they want to be. And I know it's hard to say that without sounding selfish or putting like a woe is me type spin, but that is part of it.
I'm gonna let you know that that last part is just you with self-esteem issues, not necessarily how the world thinks, because I don't find it selfish in any way. And I think that we as a society don't want people to succeed because, right, everybody can, it was a story that was brought to me a long time ago, right? Everybody, we all talk negative, we all talk about our flaws and we talk about our things. Why? Because we know that everybody's had something like that happen in their life and we can all agree upon that. Not everybody's had a victory and a win,
Sure.
right? And so it's like, hey, I started to celebrate every win and every victory and everything that people want to achieve as long as it's within good faith, right? So I'm not dogging you for it, but I'm just saying you feel like it's selfish, but it's not. Like you're telling what you want the world to have, and people like David and I will absolutely agree because granted, we're not gay, that David knows of. But right, like we want the world to see that. We want the change to be like I love
I did make David cry. That's why he keeps sniffling.
Absolutely.
we talked about hot foods and hot topics, baby. Here we go. But no, like
I worked at Hot Topics too
I can see this about you. Full Jinko
for
pants.
5 months
Really?
as a assistant store manager.
In the Granville Mall?
No, this was way back when I was in Arizona.
Oh, Arizona.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Well, my dad was in the military for 20 years, so I don't really have.
Oh, you're a military brat.
Yeah, so I was born in Germany, lived there for 3-4 years.
You can be president.
I cannot. So then from there went to Texas, Texas back to Germany, Germany to Jersey, Jersey to Arizona, Arizona to Michigan. So I've now lived officially in Michigan and Grand Rapids the longest of my life.
How'd you end up in Michigan?
I got a scholarship for law school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cooley?
Yeah.
Good for you. All right. So I was joking about the whole Germany thing. Like you weren't born in military Germany?
I was not born on a military base.
Ah, all right. So, no presidency for you, baby.
It's all good.
Loser.
Whatever.
I have two thoughts here. I'm gonna forget them because my brain doesn't work as well as it used to.
You want that pen and paper that he made fun of me about?
I might.
You need to take a
So
notepad.
I want to go back to representation for a minute.
Sure.
The last presidential election we had, we heard a lot from women, especially going, I feel more a part of this country now because we have a female vice president. That's something we've never experienced. So we have a female vice president who's also Black and Indian, which we don't get a lot of people of color in those positions. So now we have different demographics that can sit there and go, oh, that's something I could actually do. We had a session here on Sunday where I ended up spending a lot of time with these people because they happened to lose their keys and they asked me about the podcast. So of course, I just started rattling on about the podcast.
Yeah.
And I talked to them, we started talking money, but then we kind of went into politically where things are right now. And I said, I'm 47. I'm technically a BIPOC individual because I'm Persian and white, but I'm white presenting. So I don't know. I didn't grow up with any biases or any stereotypical racism or anything like that because I present as a white person. I was raised by a white mother. Everybody just looked at me as another white guy. So I don't have any of those experiences that, other people would have had, growing up in a predominantly white town.
Oh, especially where you are.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up in Plainwell, so we had 1 or 2 Black kids in a 6-year period. It just wasn't something that was dealt with there. And having that representation, I think, is so important, especially, where Peter's talking, how many gay people can you look at and go, oh, I could do that too? Because I mean, my daughter being a lesbian and not figuring that out until later in life, she can't sit there and say, oh, well, as a lesbian, I could achieve this, because there are not a ton of high achieving lesbians out there that she could say, oh, the vice president of the United States. That we've never had that. Like Pete Buttigieg, you can look at what,
Go on.
and he's got this certain amount of notoriety, and he's reached these certain levels, and people are like, hey, I think he should be the vice presidential candidate with Kamala. I think that'd be great. But as a cis, basically white man, I don't know if that's electable, because you're already asking people to go outside of their comfort zone and vote for a female who is Black and Indian. Well, they also accept a gay white male. So as much as I think that'd be a excellent thing for people to look at, I don't know if the United States is ready for that. You know what I mean?
Well, I used to always say when Hillary was running, I don't think it was the country wasn't ready for a woman. I think they were ready for change in the main. Because if you look back, it would have been Clinton's for then 12 years.
Yep.
And Bush's for 12 years.
Yep.
So for almost a quarter a century, we would have had two families running our country.
Yeah.
And I think that's my own, I have no statistical data or anything to support my hypothesis. That's my initial thought. Because that was just something I was like, really? There's nobody else?
I think Trump supporters get stuck a lot on well, you voted for Bill twice. Bill Clinton was an excellent president.
Yeah.
He's a shitty human being. He's reprehensible. I don't agree with anything that he did personally, whether it be Paula Ford or Monica Lewinsky or any of that. It was fucking horrible the way he treated women. It was horrible how he treated his wife. But I don't like to play these, well, you elected Bill Clinton twice bullshit, so why can't you elect Trump bullshit? Because we should be better.
Should learn from your mistakes.
Absolutely. Bill was a great president. He was a shitty human being. You can
be good at your job and still suck.
Absolutely you can. Could I in 2024 vote for Bill Clinton? Fuck no. He's a horrible human being. He was a great president. He's still a horrible fucking human being. I want to vote for somebody that's not a horrible human being.
It's funny. It's funny because you and I are a lot alike in the sense of we stand for things and don't get over it. Like, to this day, since the oil spill, I've never shopped at a BP since.
Yeah.
Like, I refuse. Because like it's the one thing that just because they got away with it with a slap on the wrist, right? And I'm going to be the change because I tell you this all the time. Like, if you want to see change, it takes everyone to be that person. And so I will literally run out of fucking gas and Uber to the next gas station. Right?
I have never eaten at Chick-fil-A. I will never eat at Chick-fil-A.
Same thing.
Chow down at Chick-fil-A, even if you're gay.
No.
I don't do that, and I also don't travel to countries that still have laws on the books that criminalize homosexuality.
So,
and people don't know this, but like Jamaica is one of those countries.
Yeah,
my best friend is gay, and him and his husband, they've been married. Oh gosh, it's been quite a while. So, best man, and so they don't either, but they have once or twice because they've had to because of people of holding weddings there, and so they're like, yep, we're brothers. And it's like so awkward for them. And they're just like, but because it's either that or right, you end up in jail or killed or whatever, right? Like
in Jamaica, it's like 2 years hard labor. Look at me.
Yeah.
I'm not built for hard labor.
Hey guys, if you can't see this little one here, like, no, I mean, a day's worth of not eating cookies would get at this one. So,
when we went on our last cruise last November, we left out of Florida, and Florida's kind of a shit show right now with DeSantis. I remember
he's
telling
not there anymore, is he?
Oh yeah, he is. He's got a couple more years. So I remember telling Caitlin when she was, because she traveled separate. I'm like, listen, I love you. I love how out you are. Don't wear any of that fucking shit when we're in Florida. I said, I don't want your purse because her purse has rainbows on it. I said, I don't want you wearing any of the fucking t-shirts. None of this shit.
Well, that's the problem.
I said, cover up your fucking tattoo. And she's like, that's not fair. You're right. That is not fucking fair. The minute she saw me, you know what I'm fucking wearing?
all pride stuff.
Vaccinated dad hugs.
Let's say,
And she looked at me and she goes, why the fuck can you wear that? I said, because I'm 300 fucking pounds. I'm a 46-year-old man at the time. Nobody's gonna fuck with me. You're a 29-year-old female. They're gonna fuck with you.
Yeah.
So I will do all of the wearing of the shit for you, but you will not, because they're not gonna fuck with me.
well, and that's the problem is like going on the cruise with Caitlin, because like, right, and she wears pride pants and does this, and
Yep.
it's like, we're not in America anymore. Like, and I don't think Caitlin understands, right? Because
Yeah.
she stands and represents what the U.S. is, and I don't think
Uh-huh.
Dawn truly understands that either. Like, I understand going out of the U.S. I understand that, like, I'm on a whole different set of laws,
Yeah.
rules, and regulations, baby. What we think is normal, we don't live by here, baby.
sure.
And so it's like, and so she'll just be like, "Yeah, I'm cool," and it's like, "No, you're not. You are married to me at this moment in life, and these are my two wives, and everybody's gonna think that's the greatest thing in the world." Like, let me be clear about this. We are married. I have 2 rings at the like, right? And it's just like there's a time to stand for what you believe, but it's not in a country that's not yours, right? Like,
Or in a country that doesn't necessarily believe the things you believe.
well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Or
sure,
even an area, because
Yeah.
again, I did this in Fort Lauderdale, and everybody's like, "Well, Fort Lauderdale is very accepting." I don't give a shit. It's in Florida. I'm not.
Yeah. But I say you never know. All right, and we're back. Sorry,
From our tangent.
he said he's tired, so we have to get him out of
I
here.
didn't say he's tired. I do have to use the restroom though.
Oh, all right. Let's hit pause on this recording,
We can absolutely do that.
and then we'll. Yep, we have so much more. So hit pause real quick.
So I gotta get the thing to work here. Here we go. And we're back. I had to take a quick little break there so we could freshen up and get a little something to eat.
I did not freshen up. I did the complete opposite. But
Hey, but you did get something to eat. Well, you didn't eat it yet, but you got an airhead.
oh, I did. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
So we talked about people pre-voting during our quick 20-second intermission. And so we know that your daughter and your wife have voted for our guest.
They
This
did.
evening.
They put in their absentee ballots a couple weeks ago, and they did cast a vote for Peter.
So Pete,
Or
I tried to get
All right,
over that.
Nicholas.
I tried. Fuck you. Don't have his back. So will you be voting in person or will you pre-vote?
I'll vote in person.
You will. Okay. What about your husband?
Most likely in person.
How mad are you going to be if your husband doesn't vote for you?
Fair. So
Really?
vote.
Really, you don't care? That's awesome.
Yeah, we're recording.
It's funny because I told my
I
wife
have to
that.
say that.
Well, I don't, because I told my
So-
my wife, who will never listen to this, I told her if she doesn't vote for me, that's fine. I don't expect any better.
I mean,
So-
he's my campaign manager. I
So- We're
You hired
talking.
the wrong one.
We're talking yesterday in your pool,
Yeah.
and Dawn goes.
I wasn't there. Just
You
to be
were
clear
not.
with everybody.
Dawn goes, "Is Carlos coming?" I'm like, "I don't know, maybe."
Oh, tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, Peter was in my pool.
No,
It's like,
me and Dawn.
oh, okay.
And I said, "I don't know." And she's like, "Well, it wouldn't shock me if he does." I'm like, "Well, it wouldn't shock me if he does either." But
He doesn't like me.
No, we had to divide and conquer. He's at like 2 different events right now.
well, and Dawn's like, "Well, I mean, Carlos talks like if Peter wins, he wins too." I'm like, "Yeah, it reminds me of you when I coach softball and you're always trying to take credit for my fucking team." And she goes, "Well, I mean, I am just like Carlos and you are a lot like Peter because you don't want to talk to anybody either." I'm like, "Yeah, but you're annoying when you do."
So that being said, I mean, I love you, honey. Thanks for watching.
Oh, she probably is watching. Sorry, honey. I do love you.
But
She does. She is very, very much like Carlos in the fact that she will talk to anybody and about anything and doesn't give a shit.
Well, we've been like out of the country and run into people he knows. Like
That
not even
doesn't
plan,
shock me.
not even plan. I'm like, how do you know this? Well,
That's
it's very confusing
awesome.
to me.
I'm definitely the opposite of you guys. I'm extrovert like
Uh-huh.
crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, it's
Weird.
crazy. Who would have guessed that, huh? Stop it. So, so my wife and I, we went to
Be an extrovert.
no.
See,
More so than me. But
Yes, say more so than, but like,
Not you.
no, God, no. But we're in, so we went to,
I think that's what makes couples work.
We are
Oh, yeah.
we are so opposites. It also makes us not work too.
Paul Abdul and MC Scat Cat got it right.
I did.
Do you even get that reference?
Dropping, yes. No, I'm just as old as you. What are you, 45?
I turned 44 this year.
Do you really? God damn, grandpa. So
That's the whiteness in my beard.
I'm still 30s. I have a white strand.
By the way, can I talk to you for a minute? Because I bitched to your wife about this.
Yeah.
The rat nest?
No.
Are you jealous of this right now?
How
Wow.
how in the fuck did Kim guess me at 56?
56.
Are you drinking right now?
No, I'm sober.
Yeah. We had literally said it like 22 seconds before she said it. Your daughter had said like, "Oh yeah, we just celebrated 56th birthday, blah blah blah," and then you're like, "Oh hey," because you were busy talking to her, and then she's like, "Hey, guess how old I am?" She's like, 56, because Caitlin had just said it like 22 seconds before that.
You're 56?
47.
That's what I thought. Because you just mentioned earlier about your age and being a
Yeah.
teenager in the 90s.
Yeah,
I'm like,
Yeah, I'm
wait a minute.
47.
Both of you have like 10 years on me.
Whatever.
I mean,
Yeah,
he does not have 10 years on you.
I have 500 pounds on
I have
both of you, so-
11 on you.
So, gosh, you know what? I don't even need to
88,
be here
right?
now. 88, yeah.
Yeah. So I got 11 years on you.
So yeah, we're in. You had mentioned knowing people outside of the country. I can't say I've ever gone out of the country and known people. I do make friends quickly. I'm still friends on Facebook with everybody from the Dominican. So 5 hours before our flight, my wife found out she was pregnant. So I drank for 3 of us. And trust me, I drank for 3 of us, baby. And so my first time all inclusive, whatever. And me, the person I am, so meet people. My wife comes back from an excursion, and here I am, like, yeah, shots, get around for everybody, and put it on my, because I'm just like, hey, put it on me. I'm excited we're having a kid. Forgetting that I don't have to pay this tab or do whatever. I'm just like, yeah, I say on me, on me. It's like kind of half the night, it's just me saying, yep, this one's on me. Yeah, give me a bottle. That one's on me. And just, it was hilarious. But my wife's like, we didn't pay a single part of that. And I was like, I tipped. All right. Like, I felt like an idiot every time they showed up with them, but it was fun. So then we're in Puerto Vallarta in Mexico, and doing a little research beforehand. It's like the gay capital of Mexico. I had no idea. And so here I am, right, wearing Pride stuff, because I used to make my own Pride stuff. And so I'm holding my wife's hand. We sit down in a restaurant. These guys look at us and they're like, all right, we have to know, are you gay? I was like, no, man, I just support and don't really give a shit. And he's like, no shit. He's from California and knows like one of my best friends.
Of course.
And he's like, yeah, so we play softball together and this and that. And I was like, so now we've become really good friends. I'm going out to, Colorado, not California. And I'm going to go visit him in September when I go see Amos Lee in Red Rocks. So.
Yeah, it happened to us in Costa Rica.
Oh, shit.
I can't remember where else it happened.
All right, should I go to Costa Rica?
Costa Rica's wonderful.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All inclusive or none? Excuse me.
Well, we've done both. So
Yeah, what should I do?
don't do all inclusive.
Okay.
You like
I regret doing an all inclusive in Mexico.
Yeah, Costa Rica just has so much to offer out. So I just know the all inclusive we did or where we stayed was for a conference for the family law bar, and we were like away from everything. So there was nothing that you could go do unless you wanted to travel on a bus for like 2 hours each way.
Sure.
And it's not like you were going far, but they couldn't go fast because it's all hilly and whatnot. And then we did it again with Carlos's aunt, cousin, and we just had a hoot and a half. Just
A what?
hoot and a half.
Cool. So for
I
the
also
young,
say-
for the young kids that are out there,
I also say howdy a lot
how do you?
Yeah.
Oh, this
because there's an
I
emoji with a little cowboy hat on.
yeah, and I do forget that you're not from here,
No,
and this
not
is
at all.
why you say soda, and this is why you say hoot and a half.
Hoot and a half.
Oh my goodness!
Good
Don't
God.
you,
Oh, good
don't
God.
you know?
Don't you know?
Let's say, do you want some 7-layer salad? You say, oh my
No.
goodness,
What is that?
a
It does not
7-layer
sound
salad,
Good at all.
7 layers of heaven.
It
This,
says salad though.
yeah,
What is good about a salad?
it's a dip. There's a lot of things good about salad. Okay,
It's like lettuce.
not all salads have to be lettuce.
Okay.
Potato salad,
I love how we've
Pasta
gone
sa-
from like
pasta
lettuce to
salad.
initial discussion
This is what we
to
do.
salad.
pasta salad, all good salads that are not lettucey.
We have been told many times by our spouses,
Who's
that
listening?
I can't listen to you two people because all you do is talk about dumb shit. So I told this story. I don't know if I told it on Bucks and Brews last time, but I've told it to you recently. We're listening to the score on the way back from Cincinnati, because I want to hear what's going on with the Bears and stuff. And they divert into Uncrustables for 20 fucking minutes. And they're just talking about Uncrustables. And Dawn goes, why the fuck are they talking about Uncrustables? I thought you wanted to hear about the Bears. I'm like, yeah, but they're doing a 4-hour show. Sometimes you talk about other shit. So then they go on break, and then they come back from break and they start talking about Uncrustables again. And she's like, I can't believe you're listening to this. I'm like, again, people like hearing about real life too. That's what Nick and I do.
So, all right, where's your husband from?
Detroit,
Okay, so he's from Michigan.
like Detroit.
Yeah, like 8 Mile in Navarre.
Yeah, not
Like-
from a suburb.
Yeah, no, I
He
get
grew
it.
up in
So he's not Kid Rock or Old Never Rocked.
really close to the bridge, like by Woodmere Cemetery, like Mexican town area.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, all right, so are you going to stay here in West Michigan forever?
Not forever, but
For
for
s-
the
next-
for the
God,
foreseeable
you're
future.
50 and you want to retire at 60. So like
50,
the next 12 years,
44.
the next 16
I
years,
know it's hard
Grandpa.
for you to do the math.
16 years, it puts you at 60, Grandpa. So are you going to be here for 16 years?
Probably.
6, 12, 18, because 3 terms.
Yeah,
So
somewhere around there.
you'll do 3 terms.
Yeah.
Are you going to retire in the middle of it?
No.
Are you sure?
I don't know. I'm not a soothsayer. I
You
don't
need
know.
to. Our people are voting for you to be here for at least 6 full years. You
Well, I'm
just
definitely gonna be here for my term.
you told us that these people have gone through 6 different judges, or judges, and
Yeah.
you want them to have a
What
stable.
the fuck are you going to do in 16 years?
Yeah, what are you gonna do? What does your life look like
My life
when
at
you-
this
when you
moment.
finally get into your 40s?
So 16 years from now, so 10 years from now, my kid will be that. So pending I don't have another child, I will be traveling the entire US with my wife, who will use her degree to make the most amount of money possible. And I will just be traveling with her, living off of her dime. So that's what I'm going to be doing in 16 years. So congrats, boys. Good luck here with your, walkers and canes.
Who said we're going to be here?
Say walkers and canes, boys.
Let's see, 16 years. I'll be
90.
Shit, I'll be an old.
Yeah, you will. Sucks, doesn't it? It's only 16 when you
Jesus.
say that. Yeah. So
I'll be in my 60s.
I'll be
really,
turning 60.
I'll be 61.
well, good for you.
As sad as it is, I actually just got my updated social security
More
statement
than that.
email today. They're subtly trying to tell me something.
I'm gonna get a whole $3 because I only
I-
paid in for 10 years.
I joined ARP last year.
Did you really?
46.
So proud of you.
I went, oh, let's see what these discounts look like.
All right.
They weren't good enough to fucking join, let me tell you.
So your husband's your campaign manager.
Correct.
What else does he have a traditional job?
He has his own business called Experiences Granted. So it does everything from travel planning to he's currently has a contract with West Michigan Jazz Society. He's planning their big fundraising event in September. He's worked with John Ball Zoo, helping on their planning committee. I think it was the co-chair of Rendezvous, which is one of their big fundraising events. So he loves crafting experiences for people, whether it's he did like a big fishing charter excursion for a mom and her kids up in Alaska where they went on a boat for like 8 hours, everything they caught, then went to a restaurant and they prepared it like 3 different ways, and whatever was left over got sent back home. He sent a family to Croatia and helped them plan their whole trip out. He loves just getting into all of that, the nitty gritty and the detail oriented of having an experience, whatever that might be, just be very memorable.
Might have to hit him up.
He's really good at it. He has a great eye for knowing all of those details and thinking of all like the small minutia that would kind of get lost.
Yeah.
Like one of the examples, someone wanted to do like a destination wedding out in like Montana near like a cattle ranch, but like when you're at the cattle ranch, you can't stay there. You have to stay off property. So it's like, well, how are you going to get the people from the hotels where they're staying there? Have you thought about the transportation? Have you thought about this? You thought about the no, I hadn't thought about X, Y, and Z. So
Everybody's riding quads all the way out, there,
right,
So
in
yeah,
their dress and the
Yeah.
tuxedo, no big deal.
just a little dirty. It'll be all right.
Yeah.
It's not like it's the most memorable day of everybody's life, but it'll be fine.
So money's no object.
Money.
Where are you going?
I'm going to the state capital of Lansing, Michigan.
Right? No. Very good question.
Wow, I didn't think it
I
would take
think
this
I think
long.
we stumped him.
Well, the thing is, like, so my dad was in the military, so we lived in Europe for
Yeah.
8 years, and we traveled a lot of Europe. So I've seen a bullfight in Spain. I've been to the Eiffel Tower. I've been to
Your dad was a
Denmark.
cool dad.
Yeah, they took us everywhere. I mean, I saw the
That's-
Pope in his little Pope mobile in Vatican City. I mean,
It's
we've,
me, the Pope.
yeah, so I've seen a lot there. We've done African safari, so I've done that. I mean, we've gone to Costa Rica. We've done some stuff in the
This was a good
Caribbean.
question because Peter's already done everything, and
Yeah, I'm
nothing-
over here like this motherfucker came in with Panera. No wonder why you bitch son of a. You know what I've done with my life? Cedar Point, bro.
I've never been to Cedar Point.
you know what I got for Christmas?
They crushed
Crystal.
so like scotch and cheesecake.
Uh,
Wow.
I mean, maybe Australia, but I don't like big spiders. I have a fear of spiders.
You'll be fine.
And they're huge out there.
Yeah.
They're bigger than you.
I'm pretty big.
They're pretty big.
My name's Little John. It's funny that you don't like spiders. I don't like small things.
Okay.
I don't like mice. Yeah.
Mice don't bother me. Snakes don't bother me.
Needles bother me and mice bother me. Those
I think
are
it's
the things.
because I lived in Arizona for so long, and they have brown recluse spiders up there, where it's like you have to pour battery acid in the wound just to get the venom out. It's like insane. Yeah, no.
All right, so you still haven't told us where you're gonna go. But while you're thinking of that,
He said maybe Australia.
he said
Except for
maybe.
spiders.
He hasn't told us.
I know they have a thing where you can actually go to it's like a cruise around the world, and you go to every single one of the Disney parks. I would do that because it's like $100,000 or something insane.
Wow, that sounds like a fun trip.
It does. A Disney cruise is actually so much fun.
Have you been on one?
Yeah.
So
Money bags. I've been on one cruise in my life and I regret it. It's like so much money.
somebody we coached with went on a Disney cruise. He said
Coached
it was
with Marv.
Yeah, he said it was the best vacation he ever had. Literally, if something fell on the floor, they picked it up before it hit the floor.
Yeah, it's probably because he didn't have to like do stuff because
I know.
all the dude does like all the time.
It is more costly. I will give you that. But like because always are you inundated with kids? They're everywhere. It's like they're really not, because they have a segment for like this age
Kid
group,
zone, yeah.
and they have a middle school zone, and they have a high school zone. And the high school kids just go and do their high school kid things, and they're hanging out with their friends and making friends. At the same thing in middle school. The
Can
only
you
thing
drink?
that- they don't do drink packages, but they do have alcohol. Like Carlos did a bourbon tasting, and I did a mojito tasting.
Nick's sitting here going, if there's no package, I'm out.
Fucking tasting. Who wants a tasting? I want the whole meal.
Oh, I got to make my own. It was fun. I was hammered when I left.
Your hammered and my hammered are way different, buddy.
So
I had 7 mojitos in like 40 minutes.
the only cruise Nick has gone
There's a
on.
lot, but that's cute.
The only cruise Nick has gone
Cost
on.
like $1.45.
Yeah.
There was one night that he had 54 drinks that day. I love the expression on your face.
That's as bad as me eating an entire thing of donut hole things.
He
from
was-
Costco.
He was
How you compared those two together?
he was horrible. So like he made everybody mad at dinner because he literally was sitting across from his wife and he was throwing butter, trying to get it in between her boobs.
Nailed it.
Yeah, you do not belong there.
That, we all left him at dinner. He went to this very lovely couple we had met.
We butter in her boobs.
Nope.
He did not. They had gotten the carrot cake, and Nick announced to the entire dining room, "Don't eat the carrot cake. It tastes like shit." As loud as he could.
I could have done louder.
Then he got back to the room and was going to drink more, except he passed out. We ended up at the hot tub, and Courtney goes, "I don't know why you're mad. You act just like him." I'm like, "Yes, I act just like him at my house." Not in public.
Say, it doesn't bother me. I don't know any of those people. So
54 drinks that day he had.
that's what I averaged the entire cruise. So who knows how many I had that day. Yeah, that's what I averaged for.
Oh, but
per-
was
per
it
day.
PBR? So
No,
then it was like what?
Honestly, it was a lot of. So I don't do pop. So then I did pop. I
Yeah.
did a
Soda?
little. Nope, I did a lot of Tito's and Sprite.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because
who turned you on to that?
No,
It was me.
and then I did these things.
You're like, oh, that sounds good.
I did these like liquor drinks. I drank a lot of it wasn't Aperol Spritz, it was a Campari. And then I just drank Bud Light. So a lot because like their beer selection just kind of sucked. But like I like Bud Light.
Nick and I like very what you would call girly type drinks. If
say
it's
fruity drinks
if
with
it's colorful, we're gonna probably try it.
Well, have you been to Max's?
Seaside Hideaway.
Yeah.
So they have a drink that I absolutely love that I can barely afford because I can't afford Max's like you because I'm trying to stay retired. But anyway, there's I can't remember what it's called, but anyway, they have it's 75% bitters
Mhm.
and then like a little. I love bitters, right? I drink old fashions
Mhm.
like I'm a 90-year-old man who
Is it the bourbon special?
it might be, but it's just 75% bitters. That's all it is, right? It's just such a good drink.
My favorite is it's called a Shanghai honeymoon. And then our golden doodle is named Chai. So I figured out how to make it at home. So it's this Shang Chai honeymoon.
Nice.
And it's dark rum, apricot liqueur,
I'm sorry, what?
apricot.
Oh,
That's called a fruit.
yeah. Are you sure it's not pronounced apricot?
Apricot.
Sorry, one more time.
Apricot.
Okay,
It's also
just so we're
called
clear,
soda.
it's also not. It's called an apricot.
Apricot.
Sorry, just for anybody listening, it's dark rum and apricot
Apricot.
for our listeners.
Aunt.
It's an ant. It's a thing.
Aunt.
Holy tire! Y'all want to go fire and get a tire? Y'all got a quarter?
And
So penny, nickel, dime. What's the other one?
quarter.
It is a quarter. You're right.
Yeah.
It's not a quarter.
No.
It's like surprising about you.
Hawk the car in the yard.
Go get my khakis. You from New Jersey? Oh, is it? It's a liquid that's clear that has no anything in it. What's that called?
Water.
It is called water. It's not called water. Just to be clear, you said you were with Jersey, and so
Apricot.
it's an apricot. All right.
Anyway, okay. So the lime
Is it a
juice-
pecan or a pecan pie? It's a pecan.
It's not even a pie. It's gross. Looks like a
Done with you.
It's like a turd wrapped in like
This conversation was great up until apricot. Apricot. Like, who is just this fancy to apricot it? All right, anyway, sorry. There's
lime juice.
dark rum. Dark rum, the fruit thing,
Yeah.
and lime juice.
Lime juice and then grapefruit juice.
Ooh.
And then you take honey with 5-spice and a little bit of water and you boil it and that becomes your simple syrup and then you shake it up.
Oh, that sounds good.
It's really good.
And how much dark rum?
I usually do an ounce and an ounce of that and then the liqueur. Yeah.
So when am I invited over?
Whatever.
All right, I'll bring my wife. So you have a golden doodle?
Yeah. We rescued her from the Humane Society. So we lost her failed.
We have saints here. You know what? We can never invite good people around. All right, David. I gotta get back to this. Hold on. All right. So what will happen if for some reason you do not pass to the top 2 out of the 3?
Like I don't make it through the primary.
Correct.
I go back to doing the job that I'm doing right now and no
Okay.
harm, no foul.
Do you support anybody in the next part of it?
I have to put some thought into that.
And then now you're going down from 3 to 2.
Mhm.
You do win. And you have to pick one of the 2 of you at that point for that specific position. So nobody else can get themselves in. It's just the 2 of you at this point, correct?
One more time.
Sorry. So after the primary,
Uh-huh.
it goes down to 2.
Correct.
And at that point, people can only vote for you or the other person that
Also
goes
correct.
right. And so what is your strategy, if you care to share, from here to November when you win on the 6th?
I mean, it's hard to tell because we get a lot of information from a variety of sources, whether they're in a political campaign or prior judges that have run. You hear, this is what you need to do. This is what works. This is what works. But there's really no polling and there's really no way of knowing what works. Like I mentioned before, I've got like a radio ad out. I have really no idea other than if I have somebody hears my ad and says, I heard your ad, that's why I'm voting for you, of knowing whether or not that worked. people say you need a doorknob, you need to do billboards, you need to do canvassing, you need to do yard signs. But nobody knows really what works. And like we were talking earlier, I don't think we're in this election cycle of people is just going off name recognition. They might see your name, but they still want to look up you and find out information about you before they cast that vote. So I think it's just going to be continuing doing the same things that we've been doing, which is being very community focused and being engaged with the community and being out in the community and talking to the community about who I am. So we're going to like even over the time we were collecting signatures, we would be out at the what was the festival thing that was going on in Wonderful World of Winter?
Mhm.
And they used to have all these different things going on at night. And one of them was they had a noodle fest down on not Rosa Parks.
Yeah.
I think with the sculpture.
Folders.
Calder,
Thank you.
Calder Plaza.
And just we were out there getting signatures, but we're talking to people, we're waiting in line, and then I'm patronizing some of the different vendors that are selling their noodles and whatnot. And then I talk to them, and it's just getting to know that community and the people that support that community a little bit better. And so we did a lot of those types of events throughout the process of collecting signatures. Like I didn't pay anybody to go collect signatures for me. Like I did it on my own, or I didn't do it on my own. Scratch that. I did it with the help of a huge committee of friends, family that were all out there doing it for me because they supported me. It wasn't a person I just paid someone to go do that for.
What was your favorite noodle?
I just remember where it was located.
Okay.
So it was it's hard to describe it on the podcast here, but so Ottawa was here and it was the back one because when we got to round to start buying, some of them were already running out of food.
Yeah.
And it was the one all the way at the end. Things like I couldn't even remember the number. I can't remember the name either.
Yeah,
My husband remembers all that
Sure,
stuff.
no, you're fine. Yeah, 6. I was at that festival as well.
It was fun.
Yeah,
It was cold as sin.
It was
windy.
Yes. Oh my goodness. We've done a lot of activities together. You just didn't know it.
Yeah.
Now
Neither
we're gonna,
did
If
you.
it's food related, I'm
now we're
usually
gonna be
there.
best friends.
I love to eat. I'm like a child. I eat every 2 hours.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, me, not me. I forgot I have to. All right, sorry. And then, so you're going to win this. You take office January 1st. Then,
Correct.
what do you do with the docket that you currently have? If you're in the middle of something, you hand it off. Does the government suck? Do they not give you transition time, or do you actually get the transition time?
So
Because you'll know November
5th.
5th.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I should know.
Ideally.
Yeah.
Right.
Again, a lot of this is outside of my control,
Of course.
and I don't necessarily know exactly how it would work. But I mean, I wouldn't be scheduling any new hearings for me
Sure.
because they know that. And the interesting thing is the judge that's in the 17th Circuit race is the judge that I'm currently the referee for. So there's going to be a lot of shift in that entire docket when I win because there's going to be a new judge and a new referee. And that judge's clerk is retiring after 25 years.
Oh, wow.
So he's going to have a new clerk. So there's going to be a lot of new people on that docket. So it's really just dependent on me sliding over into the new role. I take over that docket. So cases that I was working on, I have to try and wrap up as much as I can and as quickly as I can. I think a lot of it has to do with the discussion with whoever takes over as judge for the 17th Circuit, whether they would want me to finish that out or no, because it's still them. I don't even know if I could, because now I'm a judge of a different docket. And we don't want to, there's some benefit to consistency with having the same person that's been handling your case.
Yeah.
Because then you don't have to re-explain what's going on with the case. You kind of know what their hot button issues or their cold button issues are. And versus having to start all over again, just again, it comes back to a disservice to Kent County families.
Let's see. So November 6th, 5th?
5th.
Okay. All right. So how can people find you, find out more about you? Do you have a website? Do you have we have a radio podcast?
Yeah. PKD for Judge is the website. Facebook, LinkedIn. You find me on Facebook. It's the /elect PKD. LinkedIn, it's just my name, Peter Kulas -Dominguez. That's where you're gonna find most information is all those on those 3 different platforms.
All right. I wish you the best of luck. I really do.
Thank you.
I hope you. I mean, you sound like the best candidate because we haven't interviewed the other two. But things you should know about me. If I interviewed the other two and they sucked, I'd tell them they suck. No,
I have questions.
I know. What do you got?
Important ones.
What's your important question?
So we're going to talk Star Wars for a minute. Peter and I love to talk Star Wars. So I'm going to ask you because I want to get a feel for this.
Who's your favorite Star Trek character?
Favorite rebel, not a droid.
Favorite rebel? That's not a droid.
Rebel, not droid.
Are we talking
Vader?
Are we opening it up to legends?
I'm
using air
perfectly
quotes.
fine with legends.
I'm gonna go with Vader.
Are we excluding anybody that's force sensitive?
No.
Okay.
Anybody that could be
Jason Solo.
described as a rebel.
Jason Derulo.
Jason Solo.
Can you spell Jason?
JSON.
That's a very good guess. There's a guy that makes armor in Las Vegas. That's how he spells Jason. Jacen.
Correct.
See, I went with a weird one just because I knew it was gonna be.
You want to guess whose child he is?
Hans?
Hans and Leia's.
Oh, Han and Leia had a kid?
They had
Aren't they
three.
brothers and sisters?
3 kids.
Oh, that's
No,
Oh, that's Luke.
Luke. That's
Luke
right.
had kids
My
with
bad.
Mara.
Jason is Jaina's twin brother. Jason kills Mara, who is Luke's wife. Luke's son wants to go after him, but can't do it because his father Luke is afraid he'll turn to the dark side. So who ends up doing it is his twin sister, who gets trained by the Mandalorians on how to fight like a Mandalorian so she can kill his brother.
This
Before he
is
tips
not the
over.
guy you're looking for. You say. I don't know how that works, but
Favorite droid?
K2SO.
AT-AT.
Love K2. You know my favorite though?
Mhm.
It's Chopper. I love Chopper.
He's got some spunk,
Yeah, a lot.
but I like K2SO's.
Did I get the
ride
droid right?
sarcasm.
What?
Wait,
We stopped.
AT-AT?
We kind of like
No.
zoned you out a little.
it's not a droid.
No, that's not a droid.
The fighter. The thing I'm the K-wing, the jet wing.
The X-Wing is
Yeah.
not a droid. It's a fucking ship.
R2D2.
There you go.
It is a droid.
The funny thing is, when we got married, our cake toppers were C3PO and R2D2, and they both had little top hats on them. Because I'm like R2D2, the nerdy one,
Uh-huh.
and Carl's is C3PO. Or I'm sorry, flipped it. I'm C3PO, the nerdy one. He's R2D2, the fun one.
Uh-huh.
Cool.
Favorite Imperial?
A stout. Yeah, I'd say probably. I don't know. There's a lot of Imperial stouts I like.
You're an Imperial fan.
Well, you didn't say who your favorite rebel was.
Oh,
You don't know this?
I have several, but if I have to choose, I probably have to go with Yoda. I fucking love Yoda.
I like Yoder too.
Yoder's potato salad.
I'm making you.
I do. I love
I'm
Yoda.
making you a Yoder.
I love Yoda, but I also love Obi-Wan so much.
But Ewan McGregor, or why am I spacing?
I love them both, Alec
Okay.
Guinness. I love
Thank
them
you.
both because when I was a kid, I thought Alec Guinness was just so cool. But he's dead, and I met Ewan, and I think he's just.
Have you seen that
fucking
meme with
phenomenal.
Ewan McGregor and he's at the grill and he's like pushing down and it's like making a sizzling noise and then he screams like that. Grand Admiral Thrawn, but not the live action version.
So the book version.
Correct.
Yeah.
What is this? What are you talking about?
Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Yeah, what is that?
Best
He's-
Imperial.
A bad guy.
Imperial. Sorry,
He's
I
a blue bad guy.
forgot they were
with
still
red
talking
eyes.
about Imperials. Yeah, you're good. What's another question?
Oh, what's your Imperial?
Oh.
Founders Imperial Stout.
I don't know. It's probably Vader because he scared the shit out of me so much when I was a kid.
all right.
I mean,
You
he
know,
also traumatized
He
me.
was a
So
kid 15 years before you were.
so I argued with my cousin who's, I don't know, he's like 22 now. I'm like, Empire was so hard for me because I'm 3 years old when Empire came out. And I remember seeing Empire in the theater. And Han Solo's frozen and Vader says he's Luke's father. And I had to wait 3 years to find out anything that was going on. I was traumatized.
Sure.
But I think that's part of the reason that Vader's probably my favorite Imperial because I remember feeling that still now.
All right. I'll give you that.
And
I forgot how old you were.
Yeah, I'm an old man. I don't think anybody ever gave me that feeling besides him. I mean, I can remember being a little kid going, "Oh my God, what did he just do to me?" Because he froze one of my favorite people, and then he lied. According to me, he lied to the other one.
Well, technically, he didn't do the freezing.
True, he did not.
Who did?
So
What are they called?
they're Ugnaughts
Yes.
that actually froze Han Solo.
Forget me not.
They're little pig-looking dudes.
Yeah, the little bears.
No,
No, that's
those are Ewoks.
Ewoks. Yep, I knew that one.
So I don't know if I told you this. So
Nope, you didn't. Go
When-
on. We're
when
here for
I
it.
wanted to join the 501st, Dawn got in before me because, of course, she's more tenacious than I am, and I'm just
Just say the
there.
word lazy.
Apprehensive. We'll go with apprehensive.
All right, I can say that.
So she got her biker scout done, and then she's like, "Well, what do you want to do?" I'm like, "Well, I don't know how to make anything, so I suck. I'd have to find something that I think I could do." And honestly, I'd love to be a stormtrooper, but you don't see fat stormtroopers. You just don't. I think it looks weird. So she's like, "Well, what characters, do you think would be cool?" I'm like, "Well, a Gamorrean guard would be cool. I could pull that off.
Yeah.
They're fat." And then we met a guy from Indiana that had a Gamorrean guard, and I grabbed his head and I stuck it on my head, and I'm like, "Yeah, I can't do that because it's all this latex and it's so sweat." And he could only be in it for about 15 minutes at a time because
Sure,
it was
sure.
just so hot. I'm like, "Oh, that's not gonna happen."
Remind me to tell you about when I was Barney.
All right. I kind of settled on
Stinson or the dinosaur?
The dinosaur.
I kind of settled on a Tuscan. I'm like, I think I could do a Tuscan. And then she happened to find a guy that was selling a Tuscan in California that was similar to my size. And that's how I ended up being a Tuscan, because I figured, yeah, I could be a fat Tuscan. That doesn't look crazy. So that's kind of how I settled on that. Mind you, her and Caitlin still want me to do weird things, like she's almost done with her Endor Leia. And Dawn thinks that I could pull off Jimmy Smits, because I look like a tall, skinny, handsome Latino man. And I keep telling her I'm too fat to be Bail Organa, but nobody listens to me, so whatever. So that may be something at some point.
Whoever they got to play young Leia in Obi-Wan series she nailed it.
She was awesome.
She knocked it out of the park.
She was so good.
Great. Honestly, yeah, just so good.
You know nothing that's going
young Leia. That was such a good young Leia.
Yeah,
So
Cinnamon bun girl. I mean, she pulled those cinnamon buns off.
she had cinnamon bun.
Yeah, I know. Wow. I mean, I couldn't agree with you guys more. Nailed it.
You feel left out.
Yep. Sure do.
Just keep playing on your phone.
I am actually gonna win. Trying to get votes here. All right, folks. Trying to get votes.
Some people might care about Star Wars.
Yep.
Anyways.
Yep. Some people might.
It's like $1 billion franchise.
At least more than that. More than $1 billion. Didn't
Well,
they
yeah.
pay more than $1 billion?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
but then like Disney did some things to it. I'm sure it lost some credentials.
It's definitely taken a hit. The Disney stuff has not been great.
No.
Did you watch Acolyte?
I watched some of it.
I've watched some of it. I haven't gotten
I-
too into it.
I can't finish it.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish it. I haven't
You
gotten
have
that
to.
in.
I still never finished Mandalorian.
Oh, I loved it.
I liked season 1, and season 2 is okay. Season 3, I don't know.
So much Bo-Katan in season 3.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love Katie Sackhoff. She's just like,
Well, it's Battlestar Galactica.
well, she's a saint.
Yeah.
So, I mean, some of those things for me.
I'm watching Suits.
Okay.
And, what's her name? That was also in Battlestar Galactica as the Cylon at the beginning. She's one of the it took me like 10 minutes. It's like, why do I know this attorney? Why do I know this attorney?
Was it Trisha?
The blonde? She's only in there for like an episode.
Okay,
or two.
then no.
Yeah,
Of Suits or of
of Suits. She was in Battlestar, the remake,
Yeah.
for like the entire season. The
I
blonde.
I love Suits.
I'm only in the middle. I think I'm almost done with season 4. It's been my secret guilty pleasure while I've been campaigning, because it's mindless. I don't think about it. I put one episode on at night and I watch it before I go to bed.
You get super annoyed with how inaccurate it is.
Oh, I don't care, because it's not trying to be a lawyer show, because I can't watch lawyer shows.
Yeah.
Like the only other lawyer show I've ever really watched was Ally McBeal. Because again, it's not trying to be a lawyer show.
Gotcha.
What were you gonna say? What?
No, I love Suits.
No, that's not what. That's not. No, you. I said Ally McBeal, and you're about to say something.
You're so gay. That's what you would watch.
Robbie Darren Jr. was on it.
Yeah.
Are you saying he's gay?
Yes, yes, I am.
First of all, why is he being cast as Dr. Doom?
I don't
There's
know.
like a billion other people in the world.
I didn't understand it. So I did read some article and they're like, well, there was one alternate universe where Tony actually was Dr. Doom. And I'm like, I don't understand. I just don't understand.
Yeah, no,
Did you see Daredevil and Wolverine?
not yet. Don't spoil it.
I will not spoil it then.
I will spoil it.
He hasn't
Okay.
seen it either.
I know the opening.
It was good. It wasn't, I don't think it was great. It was good.
I know that whole choreographed dance.
I will tell you this. Dogpool's the fucking best.
That dog is so fucking
It's
creepy.
so fucking ugly, but it's so fucking cute.
No, it's not even
It
cute.
is, it's so ugly that
And
it's
I
cute.
love dogs. That dog is not.
It's
cute.
so ugly that it's cute.
No.
It's even more fun. It's even more cute when its tongue is like in Ryan Reynolds' mouth. I mean, that's just fucking hilarious. So, anyways, we've gotten way off subject. Nick's trying to figure shit out. Nick, you have a question you ask every guest now towards the end. You know, we didn't like subscribe share at the beginning either. We
We
suck.
didn't. All right, I have one more question.
Okay.
What have you found to be the biggest way to get in front of people?
For the campaign?
Yes. No, just yes, please, for the campaign.
Oh, I don't know. Because he said the question you ask every person that comes
No,
on the show.
That's not the question.
Oh, okay.
So one more before that.
Okay. Going to events like we were at, Lowell Pride, which was a fabulous Pride. It was so much fun. Like on the river, such a good time. Grand Rapids Pride. There was a Grand Rapids community event where it was like all day, and they had like breakout sessions talking about different issues / concerns that's going on in the greater Grand Rapids area, and just going out into those breakout sessions. Because you're guaranteed to be talking to people. You're guaranteed to be around people, and they're going to see you, or me and Carlos for the most part, at almost everything. And they see us in our shirts, and they're like, "Who's Peter? Oh, you're Peter. You're the candidate, and you're out here doing these things." Yeah, that's me. I mean, we did the parades like for 4th of July too. And again, I'm out talking to people as best you can while you're trying to walk through in a parade. But going to those type of events, which I think is great too, because I have like one of the best conversations I had was at the Women's Expo. I had a gentleman come up to me who was in foster care system when he was a kid. And his first question to me was, "Do you let kids talk in your courtroom?" And I'm like, "Yeah, why?" And he told me about how when he was in the foster care system, nobody ever let him come to court. Nobody let him have a voice, and nobody let him talk. But he also had the insight when we were talking to say, and it's not like I wanted them to do what I wanted them to do. It's not like I expected them just to do what I want to do because it was me, the kid. I just wanted to have a voice and a seat at the table. And Kent County does a great job of ensuring that people that are on our court appointed list really want to be there and really want to help families. Like it took me like a year and a half before I could even get on the list. Like I had to sit and watch hearings. I had to do a bunch of trainings. I had to do a lot of stuff on my own to show that I'm really committed to this kind of. And so I don't think that any of our attorneys aren't like intentionally asking kids to go there, but sometimes it's not on that forefront. So since having that conversation back in March, I've changed my approach on the bench to say to all the attorneys representing kids, "Did you talk to your kid? Do they want to be here? What's going on?" They're like, "Well, they do, but they've got school." Oh, I can fix that. We will just won't have a 9 a.m. hearing. We'll have a 3:30 in the afternoon hearing. Because if they want to come and talk and feel like they have a say and a voice, I want them to have that. And that's been very rewarding through the entire process, is hearing those kind of stories.
That's great. Good for you.
Thanks.
You're going to be so good at your job. Like, which is great because you don't get many people like you. Yeah, I'm buttering you up just because I do want to hang out someday, just not Star Wars.
Well, I heard you had a pool, but I've never been invited.
David?
Yeah, you just say, "Nick, I'm coming over to use the pool," and he goes, "All right." That's the invite.
Facebook's been out there and I said, "Hey, anybody needs to cool off and whatever, I got AC and a pool, go ahead and jump in," because I just do it for everybody.
He's been gone since Monday morning or Sunday night.
Monday, yeah.
So I went to his place Sunday night. He wasn't there. I went Monday night and Tuesday night. Just use his pool without him.
Same. All right. So the question I'm trying to ask everybody now All right, in life, what's the greatest advice you can give anybody?
Don't be afraid to do and follow your dream.
Sweet. All right. Anything else that we hit on that, or we need to hit on that you think we missed that we suck at?
It's been a great conversation. Thanks for having me.
Good.
Thanks for coming.
So as always, like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, tell your family. I want to give a shout out to David for a PBR. Truly enjoyed it. It's been a while since I've had a nice PBR.
I enjoyed my 2 beers too.
Good.
We'll be back next week with something.
That's because he's
We
had
think-
a lot of crappy PBRs
Yeah.
because it's PBR.
True story.
Trying to get sponsored, asshole.
We'll be back next week with something. We don't know what day because Nick and I have not discussed it that far.
We horrible.
I mean, it's summer. It's kind of been bad. But thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you guys again real soon.
You've dialed in.
To Bucks and Brews, you might hear something
You can use.
like tips on your cash or tips on the suds.
You're gonna want to
The
use.
smarts of these
Because
stuff.
they know the brews.
And they know the Bucks, and they know they can't help the stubborn fucks.
So listen up, because shit's not funny.
Save yourself some
Beer money. Bucks.
and brews.
Bucks and
Bucks
brews.
and brews.
Brews.
Bucks and brews.